Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special edition episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and my goodness, this is a day for Xbox gamers. And I got to tell you, man, they are cheering in the aisles. I happen to be one of them for many reasons. I mean, I walked away from this this well, I'm gonna say conference. It's not a conference anymore. This digital event, extremely happy. It was literally gleaming. And of course, I believe that had a lot to do with the fact that I was going to interview Major Nelson, which I did, and I had him for about 20 minutes. And if you missed out on it, it is currently live on my YouTube channel. So, load that up so you can check it out maybe after this show. Hopefully you hang around for the 2 hours because we have a massive panel with massive topics. And let's get into the introductions so we can get into the big news of the day. And Zemi Games, I'm going to start with you. First of all, you did it again. You made people hungry. You showed people your newest creation with the wok that you just picked up. First of all, welcome to the show. And listen, how is that cooking going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. I mean, you know what's the best part of the whole thing is that after all that hard work, I get to eat something, right? I mean, that's really the joy of cooking, isn't it? but man, dude, I am super excited. We have so much to talk about. I watched all of the showcase, and then I beat Assassin's Creed Unity, and then I had to take a nap, just to prepare myself to stay up until 8. Because my sleep schedule's so messed up. God only knows when I go to sleep. But I'm here right now. I'm ready to talk about it. I cannot wait, man.
Well, listen, it's great to have you a part of today's show. And yes, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get excited about. But let's continue with the introductions. Next up, you know him as our resident educator, someone that likes to use a lot of big buzzwords because he's that damn smart. He's also the host of his own amazing weekly podcast known as the Xbox Expansion Pass. Please welcome Insipid Ghost.
What's up, guys? Boom, chat. It is so good to be here. What a great day to talk video games. We've had that climactic moment. I feel like we've hit the crescent of the Summer Games Fest, and now we've got August stuff waiting for us to find out the prices. We've got so much to talk about, and I got to say, I've never gotten a podcast with Shondi and Dreadpool and Crispy and Noof, and so I'm so excited to join you guys. Thanks for being here, everybody in chat. When you have so many places to be, and thanks for having me on, Boom.
Well, listen, it's great to have you. No problem. And obviously, you bring a lot to the table with a lot of your big opinions, and we love hearing them. Next up, you know him as our chain-soaring maniac, someone with the raspiest voice in podcasting. Hey, welcome, Crispy Bomb.
Hey, we got to woo! Let's go, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
Man, I enjoyed it. Let's get into it.
Well, listen, it's great to have you here, and I know that you have a lot of big opinions, and we're going to get to that momentarily. Next up, I call him Superman. He's also been called one hell of a community member. Please welcome Dreadpool.
Oh, thank you. You know what, Crispy? You stole my woo. I was going to do that. So, yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I actually had to take a cat nap myself just so I keep my energy going because I was working all night and just thinking about all this, what's going to happen and seeing what happened. And, I can't say woo now because you stole it from me.
So maybe towards the end, you get a woo in there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, listen, thanks for being here, dude. Super appreciate you being a part of tonight's panel. This is going to be epic. Next up, before I get to the mouth of the South from Canada, we have to introduce someone that I flew in. I spared no extra expenses, of course. Arnold, what did you think of today's show?
Honestly, Boom, I thought it was a fantastic show. I was watching the whole thing. Microsoft came out there and they put the sledgehammer down. I mean, Halo Master Chief, he jumped out of the plane and he just got in the Warthog and he went up there and he shot all these giant gorilla-looking things. It was fantastic. And the rest of the show, there was so much, and then it ended with the Fable. I've been waiting for this game for so long. I cracked up laughing when I saw the big frog just swallow the fairy. It was fantastic. So everybody, enjoy the rest of this show. Noof Nukem may have a different opinion than me, but Noof Nukem, well, he's a moron anyway, so you guys can just enjoy this show.
Well, listen, Arnold, thank you so much. And speaking of Noof Nukem, listen, Noof, welcome. First of all, good on if everyone might have been concerned about our good friend Primal Eve, she has been found. She is in good shape. Me and Noof had some concerns the other day, and of course she rectified that by reaching out to both of us. So we're good to know. It's good to know that Primal Eve is, obviously well. And as for you, my brother, you, my friend, have a tremendous amount to say, and I can't wait to get to it. Welcome to the show, dude.
Boom, boom, kaboom. Noof Nukem is in the room. Yes, quite the day it has been. My views may vary a little bit from the rest of the panel. Not to say that I'm coming out here to lay the smackdown on Microsoft. I am not. I was still impressed with the show, but I'll leave those opinions till we get there. In the meantime, this is a fantastic panel. I hope everybody's excited. We saw a little bit of a future of games at Xbox, and that's always a good thing. So I can't wait to get into it.
Well, you know what? It's great to have you here, and obviously we are going to get into it. And last, and no way least, man, this is someone. This is a gentleman that's been on my show quite a bit, and I think he has quite a bit to say about it. His excitement literally was busting through the speakers while we were talking privately. Please welcome to the show, Sean D. What's up, dude?
Thanks for having me, Boom. This show definitely eased a lot of tension I had about it coming out. The show was just great. I'm so glad to be here with you guys to do this panel. As soon as you talked about having this show, I had to hit you up and be like, hey man, I got to get in this panel. I have to talk about how this show is going to be. And I'm just so glad that it turned out so well.
Well, you know what, dude? It did turn out well. And again, listen, I want to before we even get into the actual podcast, I want people to understand. And first of all, we have quite a few people already here, and I'm going to ask two things. One, if you are here and you are enjoying the content, I'm going to ask that you do consider hitting the like button because that does help. And get out there on social media, let people know that there is a post show because maybe people didn't get the message, maybe people didn't get the notification because you know what, YouTube sucks sometimes. And let's get some more eyes on this because this is going to be a big show and I want to break some records today, so let's do that. But you know what we're going to open up the show with is there were a lot of concerns from myself, from many people in the community, many people on this panel as to how Microsoft was going to respond to the criticism of May 15th. Now, May 15th had a lot of peaks and valleys. I walked away from it. I personally gave it a B+. I stand by that. I've been challenged and I've defended that, and I will die on that hill. But there were some things that could have been done better, and there could have been things that could have been added that were not there. And it seems as if Microsoft got the message loud and clear. I think that this show, the show's production value was A+. It seemed like an E3 show. That's how I felt watching it while I was live with the Iron Lords, doing the live reaction. And I walked away thoroughly impressed with the idea that if they are given the time and they are given the proper feedback, that's not a bunch of F-bombs and you sucks, they will do the right thing by their community. I think that they came in big. So I'll start with, of course, Emmy Games. Emmy Games, what were your thoughts on the presentation of the show?
I thought it was really good. I really did. And they did a lot of things that I didn't expect, like having such a huge focus on Game Pass. But just, talking production-wise, I thought it was very, very good. Everyone had, it looked like a camera that costed them more than $20. So, I mean, that is right off the rap. That's very, very good. Like where they had some of like the little tiny baby interviews, like after they showed a game, all of those cameras looked fantastic. And whenever, a big figure at Microsoft came up and was talking, it really looked like, Phil was, standing in a studio with the green screen behind him kind of thing. Yeah, I thought production-wise, everything was amazing. But more than production, I thought that the pacing went very, very well. Before the show, I was kind of talking about this. Just the way that they ordered the games, they did have some indie games in there, but they had those spaced out, I thought, very, very well. That way it kept up with the pacing, and it wasn't, for me personally, there never really felt like there was a certain point of the show where it was just like a drag to keep watching until the next great thing.
Yeah, no, and I will agree with you there. I like I said, there was a lot to like, and I think that the presentation kept you sitting at the edge of your seat because you didn't know what to expect. And I thought that was very well done. And Sipit Ghost, what were your thoughts? You know, obviously, there were a lot of people in this community critical of the May 15th event, and some people, and there are some people that actually thought that we could get a repeat. And you said something prior that they could have fallen flat on their face, and they didn't. The presentation seemed to be top notch. What are your thoughts on it, dude?
Absolutely, man. Well, you know, whenever you look at conversations around big conferences like this, big showcases, you can pick and choose different arguments therein. And I think a fair criticism of the May event was messaging when we heard gameplay and then we didn't see the gameplay we wanted. And then after that event, because it was the production values were mixed, which is understandable in a COVID-19 era. It was the first of the majors to go. But since that time, that May event, we saw Ubisoft Forward, we saw EA Play's showcase, we saw PlayStation have their big event, all better produced and better put together and a bit more streamlined. Whatever you think of the events or the games is a separate thing, but they were better produced. Microsoft returned to form today with a very high quality, well-produced show that I thought was a very appropriate length for what it was they put together. Every showcase will have a lull because when you're showing 20 games, or in this case 22, you really should be able to walk away from any showcase with that many with 3 to 4 games that you say, those are for me. And if everybody's able to walk away from a showcase like this and say, 3 to 4 games are for me on day one, that's a big win. That's a great win because they're selling you their product. They're selling you multiple products. And in this particular case, whether you were sold on 1, 3, or more, they had the added caveat with this well-produced show, well-timed show. They had this added caveat that every single game you see is in Game Pass.
Yeah.
So whether it's 1 game, 3 games, 5, or all 22, you have a method into the Xbox ecosystem, whether or not you battle the console wars or not. So I walked away with 3 to 4 must plays and 4, I'm on the fence, and a few that I'm like, maybe on a bored day. But bravo to them for a well-produced show. It was tight. It didn't have a lot of lull moments. They appeased multiple genres of games. And in truth, I think we as gamers need to recognize that this was a big improvement from May, and they gave us a lot to enjoy and to look forward to, and that's tough to do. That is tough to do, to give us wanting more and still serve several audiences in the making.
You know, those are great points. And, I want to bring Crispy Bomb into the conversation, but let me just catch up on some of the super chats. First of all, Flab drops an outstanding $5 super chat, says, hey, Boom and team, thank you for the awesome week and build up to today's Xbox showcase. It's been a pleasure to ride the excitement train with you guys. Well, listen, thanks so much for the compliment, dude. More importantly, thanks for being here and your generosity. Nightwolf 3186 drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, Boom, great work on the Larry Herb interview. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I'm so proud to know a fellow bud gets recognized. You deserve it in spades, and I felt you did tremendous. Oh, dude, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. He drops another $5 super chat and says, great show. Not perfect, obviously, but we got what we wanted, just enough of it. Also, let's not forget Initiative, Coalition, etc. come August, I think. And I think we're going to get it in August as well. We have Terrence Rosenblum, hey dude, first of all, thanks so much for being here. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, hi everyone, just wanted to say that yesterday was my greatest dream became true. My most beloved franchise of all time is returning after 10 years, Fable. Yes, I'm screaming and crying of happiness. Well, good for you, dude, and I think a lot of people were jumping for joy. Resident Link Gaming, hey dude, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat. Thank you so much for being here. He says, yo, Boom, there's a lot of bad credit for Halo. Everyone needs to realize it was just a demo and not the final product. They're still working. Yeah, I really enjoyed what I saw, but you know what? Whatever. Travis Wilson is in the house. Hey, Travis, thanks so much for hanging out, but also dropping an outstanding $5 super chat says, which of the games do you think will release in 2021? I think there's going to be quite a few of them. And that's why Microsoft shows games, 12 to 18 months out, because I think a lot of these games are going to be launching around the Series X, in my opinion. But Crispy, the production was, and you hear by most of the people here, was top notch. What are your thoughts on the production value of today's showcase?
I actually am completely enamored at what they were able to do in these times. At this
Yes.
point. There was no, and this is one of the faults that I had for the PlayStation conference, is there was a lot of transitions and a lot of the same, using the controller symbols and
The wavy lines and
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I get it, like towards the end, you kind of get it because, the console kind of looks similar to what they were presenting, but it was still kind of annoying. And I feel like Xbox eliminate that, and not only that, they got rid of the unneeded talk involved. It was very quick. You know what I mean? Like any interview like type style that they had was very quick, and I love that. I love that. We just saw game after game after game, and even in the pre-show, like Jeff Keighley seemed actually happy, which is weird. I mean, he was like kind of a little like an exo mecha. Like what? Like
that looked like something Transformers meets G.I. Joe / Call of Duty. That looked dope.
That game looked crazy.
And Crispy, no one had to blow on a controller during a pandemic. That's a win.
Well, that's how you spread the virus, man. Come on. But in all seriousness, I'm not going to say it's a 10 out of 10, but it is one of the better shows they've done. And, for it not to be at E3 style, and for me to feel that, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, they listened to us. Yes, we didn't get a ton of gameplay, but I also saw a lot of games I'm really interested in. And that's something that means something to me. I'm more, and especially with them being in Game Pass, most of them, that's pretty incredible. I mean, we're gonna pay a monthly subscription to play a lot of these games. That's insane, in my opinion. I've never had this as a gamer. Like I've never had an opportunity to say I can just try it and just uninstall it if I don't like it. I've never had that, and maybe it's because I'm a little older than maybe some, but it's just something that I'm just like, wow, like a lot of these games really interest me. I mean, and that was the beauty of it. It was about the games.
Yes. And you know something? I'm not sure actually who said it, and I don't want to take anyone credit away, but having a powerful system is wonderful. But if you don't have the games to play on it, then it's just a powerful system. And Microsoft, again, what I think that what's going on with this community, and again, this is not taking shots anyway. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not saying that people are expecting too much. No, that's not the. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm sorry. Before I lose this chain of thought, Kay Asante drops. I think I missed his super chat originally. Let me see. Where are you, Kay Asante? I don't see it.
His first super chat was complimenting you on your interview with Larry Herb, and, and said gave the showcase 8 out of 10 and didn't like the comparisons. Sony and all games on Game Pass. It's a good start.
Oh well, Kay Asante, first of all, Luke, thank you for the save. For some reason, I missed that. Kay Asante, thank you for your first super chat. And my God, my friend, he shows his generosity once again with another, and he says, "Hey, Boom, my first super chat might have been missed. Well, I apologize. I'm a terrible host." He says, "Let me say your interview was great. The show was 8 out of 10 for me. Lots of great titles to try." Well, first of all, thanks for the compliments on the interview. I was a nervous wreck. I'm going to be honest with you, but Larry is a really good dude, and he is fun to talk with, and he was as candid as you could possibly imagine. And Dizzy81, he's here, and he was actually on yesterday's prediction show. Dizzy, welcome to the show. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says something extremely nice. Thank you for being a prominent person in the community. Love the interview with Nelson. Excited to what else grows from it. Enjoyed the showcase too. Well, thank you, dude, for the kind words, but also the very nice generosity. And Resident Link Gaming is here, and he drops an outstanding $20 super chat and says this: definitely a great show in my opinion. Lots of bangers. I'm super excited about most probably being the Medium, then Halo Infinite. I almost fell over when Chief grappling the fusions coil and threw it. I can't wait. Yeah, that looked dope. So let's get over to, of course, who was I going to call? I don't even remember. Was it Noof? Yeah, I think it was Noof I was going to call it. Noof, listen, obviously, you're going to get into your opinion about the show. And you know what? I honestly cannot wait to hear it, because there's one thing about Noof is that he's honest. It may not be the opinion that you want to hear, but it's an honest opinion, and we have to respect it. But for the show itself, for the production value, as opposed to the very criticized May 15th, how did you think Microsoft did?
Well, from a production and show perspective, it was well done. Again, pacing was great. You started with a banger. I mean, you obviously started with, Halo. I mean, there's no better game to start with. And we kind of figured, I think, that they would come out with Master Chief. They ended with, well, no surprise, Fable. But I mean, for a minute there, I wasn't quite sure if they were going to announce it. Then they drop it. So that was huge kind of way to end the show. There was lots of good stuff in the middle. There was some stuff there as well that I was just kind of like, okay, that was kind of weird. I like the Hellblade incident, when the guy comes out to announce the game. I'm thinking, we're going to see something new. And then he goes, you can head to this website and check out all of our scouting locations. I'm like, what the frig does that have to do with anything? Like, okay. So they lost me there. But I mean, overall, if you just finally, yes, Microsoft gets it. They put together, it was well produced. It was put together fine. Like the pacing, when they did have a dev or they did bring on an executive, they weren't overstaying their welcome. They just kind of quick little introduction, and that was good. So, I mean, overall, on that standpoint, bing, bang, boom. Even the pre-show with Jeff Keighley and them was actually not bad. There was some surprises in there as well. So overall, on that perspective, yes, they did a pretty good job. Wasn't a lot of filler, exactly like most shows. The middle of it sort of sagged with a few titles a little bit, but there was a lot of variety shown today, which is fantastic. And if you are a Game Pass subscriber, you have nearly 30 reasons to get extremely excited today.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a great point. I mean, obviously, the Game Pass aspect we're gonna bring up and probably towards the middle of the show, because that's something that we have to touch on, because it is an important factor, and one that people are just overlooking and ho-humming. But if you are a PlayStation only player, and let's say, for instance, some of these games would be multi-plat eventually, you're buying those games, as opposed to you having a service that looks out for your better interest as a gamer and offers a tremendous amount of value for a very low price. But we'll get into that later. Dreadpool, obviously you were very excited about the show. We weren't sure. We had talked about this yesterday about, what our thoughts are regarding the production value. Did Microsoft deliver? Dreadpool, are you there, sir?
He's probably muted.
Sorry.
Dreadpool, you might be muted, brother.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was going to say yes. I think they delivered on what they said. If you look at it, like I always say, don't look at it with your hype eyes or your disgruntled eyes or any of that stuff, right? Just go in, look at it as a show as a whole, and then take out of it what you will. Okay, so production value was phenomenal compared to what they've done before. The flow was good. They had their moments, but every show is going to have that. And not everything. Yet again, how many times we have to state this? Not everything is for you.
Yes.
You can't have every single game being presented just for you, because Zami and I have different tastes in certain games. Same thing with Crispy and I, even Noof. We play a lot, but we still have different tastes in games. So what I might think is great, somebody else might not like. Okay, so we got to look at it like that. Presentation was great. It wasn't like top notch, but they did a lot better than they've done before. I mean, we didn't have any of the let's say the inside jokes that some
Yes,
people like,
the
and some
cringy
people
jokes. You mean?
yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the refrigerator. Okay, that was, to me, that was funny. I didn't care. I thought, you know what? If you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't be making jokes anyway, right? So, and the way I looked at it is, hey, you know what? We're having fun with it. We're having fun with you guys. Let's throw a joke in there. It obviously fell flat for a lot of people, but the way the presentation was, the camera work, it was fully produced. I mean, even if they did it from their homes, they did a really good job getting the proper cameras out there, getting everything
They did.
set up and recorded. You know, the presentation for the games was good. You know, like I said, there was a lull. You know, here's the let's throw this part away. At least Bug Snacks was not there.
You know what? That's a great point. That is a great point. Bug Snacks was not there, and you know what? I heard a lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh, they're going to get Bug Snacks too," but they didn't, so that's good. But you know what? I want to bring Shandi into the conversation. Then we're going to move on to Halo because I think everyone wants to hear our opinion on that, and that was the big ringer, if you will. But before I do it, first of all, I have to thank a few people. Black Eye Dog, before the show even started, drops an outstanding and very generous $10 super chat and says, "Wow, Boom, Major Nelson. You are starting to get the recognition you deserve. Always positive about gaming and the best community chat anyway." Well, dude, that is awesome of you to say. Thank you for the amazing compliment, dude. Super appreciate it. And he drops another outstanding $5 super chat and says, "Rumors are that Halo ring shown isn't the one place we will visit in Infinite." I think we're going to be going all over the place, in my opinion, and I think that down Pelican may be something of one of the missions you have to find pieces to fix, and it's going to get you to launch off that place. And we have Aaron J drops a $5 super chat and says, "The community was disgusting today. I've decided I'm no longer going to participate." Boom, you did awesome. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry to hear that you were disappointed because I said it in a tweet that some of the, again, having an opinion is fine, but some of the things that I saw, even Dizzy, who's listening, I chimed in on his tweet, and I have to agree with him. It was terribly disappointing. Some of the folks that I seen going on what were childish rants because they didn't get to play in the sandbox as long as they wanted to. I don't know. It was not a good day when it was supposed to be a great one, and I was disappointed in a lot of people. Which, you know, again, I don't name anybody in particular. An Eagles fan drops an outstanding $5 just as day one on Series X, 100 games with no extra money to spend. PS5 day one with no extra money to spend. Astro Boy looks like an Xbox. I win. Dude, that's really good. But, you know, Shandi, let's get your opinion. Production value, was it through the roof or was it in the basement for you?
The production value definitely was a big improvement over the May show. I would like for Xbox to, like, not just Xbox, Sony, all the developers to, like, go and talk to YouTube and say, "Hey, is there a way that we can upload this in our max version that we actually want it seen without you being able to fast forward it?" So, like, you would drop it when it's supposed to start, but
yeah, that's a good point.
Is allowed to fast forward to, like, spoil things for people. Like, I think until we get to that point, we're going to keep having problems because we kept talking about it before the show started. Like, yes, the show is great, but you really got to see it, like, once it's uploaded in 4K 60 to really.
It's a different world when you watch it in 4K 60. It really is.
So, but as far as the pacing, the cadence was really, really good. Everybody seems to have an issue with the middle. And when I'm saying everybody, I'm talking about the people who produce the content. Everybody tends to have that lull. I don't know how to, like, break past it. Maybe they need to start having, like, their wow factor in the center. Even though Avowed was pretty close to that point, it went into these, like, section of where it was just, like, smaller, like, nothing but a bunch of smaller games. And they got to start doing something where, like, maybe have a wow moment before it, have a wow moment after it to kind of bring that up. But as far as that, I mean, the pacing was really good. Never did I feel like, wow, when would this be over? Never did I feel like I didn't get enough, you know?
Well, I mean, listen, that's a great point. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I enjoyed the show through and through. I mean, I do think that the points of contention were the front and the back end of it. And sure, the middle wasn't as I don't know, tasty, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I agree with you, Sean. I think that maybe in the future, a big banger up front, a big banger for the bookend at the end, and something in the middle to kind of, leverage the rest of the smaller games. That's actually a smart play, dude. That's a smart play. And I think that maybe if someone from Microsoft is listening to this, and I'm sure in the next couple of days and weeks, they're going to hear that the criticism, even though it was a very good show and I quite enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I mean, I gave it a B+, and I obviously there are 6 other people here that are going to grade it. So you already know my score, and that's fine. But
Can I jump in on that lull aspect of it?
Sure.
I agree that there was a lull, as there was with Sony and as there are with almost any of these shows.
Nintendo has it all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think, and I don't think it's ill suited to acknowledge that each of these competitors do have lulls. I think what those lulls are for us, as content creators and as hardcore gamers are viewing them, this is where you show the stuff that maybe isn't for us, and the games that are for people. Like, Avowed is a Pillars of Eternity game. I didn't catch that. I didn't know that, but I bet you a PoE fan did. When you look at Grounded surprisingly looks far better than I thought, but Grounded was never going to be for Insipid Ghost or for me. Like, that wasn't for me. Bungie doesn't excite me in the same way, because I know about Destiny 2, but Bungie players probably super stoked at the idea of all the expansions are in Game Pass. Like, I think those lulls are often lulls to us, but they might be speaking to the people that the front and back ends are not supposed to, or at least maybe that's what they're designed to do. And I'm asking the question, not offering the definitive opinion there. I mean, am I off base on that? What do you guys think?
I don't think that you're off base at all, to be honest with you. I think what you're saying is, listen, folks, we have to understand something. Let's stop being the brat that didn't get the ice cream cone that he wanted with 8 scoops instead of the one that your mom got you. Because that's what this is turning into with this goddamn community. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Okay. Microsoft is a business. Okay, we have to understand that. Take the fanboy hats off, put them off to the side, sit there with your hands crossed, and let me explain. This is a business, and their business model is Game Pass. Their Game Pass business model is going to get you 200 plus games for the price of $15 a month, and day-and-date releases. Something that's unheard of in gaming. Sony's not going to do it. I don't care what anyone says. Nintendo will never do it. And this is something that they are trying to appeal to a wide audience of gamers. And that could be from someone who's only played on a cell phone, that played, Subway Surfer or Words with Friends, and they're going to see Tetris and they're like, wow, that looks really good. And I can get an Xbox for how much? Okay, and I can get the game Netflix of gaming for how much? You have to understand, the hardcore needs to stop being spoiled brats. That's the bottom line, because that's what it's turning into. Mm-hmm. I have 10 games here that are all AAA and above. And if you can't find out of these 10 games something that you like, I'm going to tell you should take your ball and go home. And I don't want to be rude about it, but that's what I think. Anybody want to elaborate on that?
Well, I will just say this. Avowed was actually placed really well. I thought I love Obsidian RPGs. I mean, they just do it right. And that looked like an upgrade from what they've been doing.
It sure has. That's money on the back end of that, by the way.
That game looked incredible. And I'm like, Obsidian's working like double time over here. Like, I was
3 games.
Yeah, dude. I was like, and they're still supporting Outer Worlds, which has a slight bit of cartoony feel, but at the same time, it feels like like a retro style. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about the game, because in the end, when you see the facial features and everything else, it's definitely next gen. You know what I mean? And they continue to push that. And I love that they're supporting the game still. People want to play more of this story. You know what I'm saying? So I I don't know why people hate. Dude, I get it. You want those third-person, story-driven games, but you're going to be one and done. You're gonna play it for as many hours as you're going to play it, and you're never going to play it again. Or you're going to play it multiple times because you want to do a harder difficulty, and you're never going to play it again.
Get your trophies or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the point I try to make to people. Like people shit on Gears 5. It's like, dude, that game is alive and well. I can find a match in like 30 seconds usually. You know what I mean? Like, it's alive and well. And I think that's a Game Pass, because as people go into the ecosystem, they want to try the best games on Xbox. And they've showed us a shit ton for Game Pass.
Every game in there, dude.
and that's the beauty of it, is that, you know, I'm going to be able to play Avowed for a monthly price that I already pay.
Right.
And that's a huge thing to me. And I'm sorry if you don't like that. You want to pay the $60, by all means, go ahead. All right. I don't hate you for it. I appreciate it, but people are doing that anyway. If they don't think Game Pass is going to give them anything for a couple months, they buy the game. I mean, you still have third-party games, but that's the beauty of Game Pass, is that you can go and sit there and buy those third-party games and not worry about it, because you already have those first-party games in the ecosystem, ready to roll. And that's something I love about it. Like, I bought a few people, my girlfriend, Husk, I bought them Mortal Kombat 11 because I had the money, because I was already subscribed to Game Pass, and all the games that Xbox is bringing out, I already had.
Right. That's a good point.
You know, and that's something I love. I love sharing with people. I love gaming with people. And I feel like they hit the nail when it comes to, you know, making you feel like you're part of the community.
And again, that's something that Microsoft does very well. You know, what I want to do is I want to transition this whole conversation into Halo, because this is a subject that you know, we've all talked about on the Xbox Factor podcast. We've talked about it on Breakfast with Boom. Hell, we've even talked about it numerous times on Primetime Gaming. And there are many of us, many people in this community, over 300 people already here watching, that had serious concerns for what 343 was going to bring to the table. And I'm going to tell you this, and they showed up. But before we get to that, let me just catch up on some of the super chats before I lose them. Pixelbit G drops a $2 super chat. Thank you for your generosity. And they just lost it. For the love of Joe. Okay, hold on. He says, watch it again in 4K on a big screen. Worth it. Yes, I actually started doing that. But of course, I had to get ready for the show. So I'm going to watch it again. But I'm going to be honest with you. That Halo demo in 4K, man, oh man, I was excited before. I'm through the roof now. Z Black Rider is in the house. Thank you for being here. He drops a very generous $10, which is great interview. Boom. Been busy all day, backlogging, blocking the children on Twitter. Oh, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I went on a bit of a blocking spree myself, because it's just, look, I'm gonna be 50, folks, and even though I don't mind, a fun conversation, I can't stand the negativity. If you're going to be that kind of person, you know what? You don't need me in your timeline. Dr. DRAM 90 drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, need more gameplay. Don't know what Everwild's about. And I agree there. I'm not sure, but I still love what I saw. Why can't they give gameplay? Why couldn't they give Halo without pop-in? Brute's face looked terrible. I mean, listen, we're going to get into Halo. I know people talked about there was some pop-in. I very, very barely saw it, but I just enjoyed the gameplay. I think people are being overcritical just to be overcritical. I'm going just to have a conversation that's negative, because that's the way the world is, unfortunately. And if you're going to have that conversation, well, you're not going to have it with me, because I enjoyed what I saw. And if you didn't, I absolutely hear you. But it's just not something that I'm going to elaborate on. And Viper XT is here once again and shows his outstanding generosity with a $5 super chat. Says Crossfire X campaign. It is not on Game Pass. There was, let's see, where was that? He says there was a fingerprint at the bottom of the trailer stating such. Okay, I didn't even see that, but I know that I'm very interested into that game. But you know what, Zemi Games, I want to go to you first. Let's talk a little Halo here. Let's talk a little Halo. There was, in my opinion, a lot to get excited about. This was a very different Master Chief. This was a very stout-looking game. It transitioned from cutscene to game flawlessly. You could not tell one from the other. I thought the grappling hook was spot on awesome. I thought that the sound, the movement of Master Chief was fantastic. There was nothing about this gameplay / trailer that I did not love. I think they're going to give us the classic Halo that we know and love and add a bunch of new things to make this game live on past a 25-hour campaign. I'm stoked. Are you?
Absolutely. And my God, did Chief look amazing. I mean, he must be going to the gym every single day or something. I mean, that man, it just looked gorgeous. I mean, a few wrinkles in the CGI trailer, but that's to be expected. He's really went through quite a lot, right? But no, in all seriousness, I loved how they did it. I really would have liked a few of those like little tiny short, maybe like developer interviews or maybe a little bit of commentary over the gameplay. But in general, I really liked it. I really liked the CGI trailer at the very beginning. I thought it looked absolutely amazing. I loved the long snippet of gameplay. I thought that the gameplay looked amazing. The shooting mechanics looked really nice and tight. The grapple hook, I was a little questionable about it, yesterday on yesterday's podcast. But I actually really like how it's being implemented into the game, being able to grapple onto, opponents and either bring them to you or you go to them and kick them in the face. Like, I love that. And then, being able to grapple on different things in the environment. The game kind of has that Metrovania style of
yes,
like exploration and stuff, which I really like that as well. And then the music that was being played, like over, Chief doing Chief, shooting grunts in the face. I love that. Just the Halo tunes just going through, just hit me in the feels, all that nostalgia. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed what they had to show. And then about the the real baddie of the game, like the Brute. I thought that it actually looked kind of somewhat not really all that good whenever the Brute was on like the orange holographic kind of look thing, which I mean, I guess is understandable. I was also watching it in 1080p, and like the thing was skipping like no other on IGN's channel.
It was scary. I was watching it through Jeff Keighley's thing, and it was skipping.
But whenever we actually got to the CGI point where he was like walking and just saying some evil stuff and showing his nasty pointy teeth, I thought that looked absolutely fantastic. Honestly, as a fan of Halo, if I had any complaint, I would just want to see more. And in a way, that's really a very, very good thing that Xbox has, right? Of course they didn't show us everything because, why would you? They need to have other things to show us, before the release of the console and before the release of the game. And, having people want more and say, I wanted more. I think that's an excellent thing for them to have right now.
It's funny. While you were talking, something came to mind that completely went over my head during the Larry Herb interview. I will say this. Listen, I encourage anyone to check it out. Obviously, it was a big deal for my very small channel. But he said something during the interview that has not been confirmed before because we didn't know. We heard that Halo was launching with the console. He actually confirmed that during the interview. Listen to it. He says, "Yeah, we have Halo launching with a console for the first time since 2001." He actually says that on the air, and that's pretty. I don't know if he was supposed to say that or they're just that confident that this game is done, which I believe they're confident. But that's pretty epic in my opinion. But Insipid Ghost, let's bring you into the conversation. For you, was Halo a disappointment, or was it completely off the chart, insanely awesome?
I thought it had a fantastic showing. I was surprised to see some people down on it. However, I think oftentimes some people will be down to be down because that's what they enjoy doing, and that's fine. It's just not a conversation I enjoy. I thought they did a wonderful job at showcasing the campaign. Mind you, we saw nothing of co-op campaign. We saw nothing of co-op game modes of any kind, nor competitive modes of game any kind. And this was entirely a campaign focus. It was a single shot framing, which suggests that maybe it's close to or all single shot, similar to God of War. I thought it captured in spirit much of Halo of old. The sound effects, the armor styling managed to look new and yet honor the old, a bit further away from the Iron Man-esque that Halos 4 and 5 had. Similarly, when you look at the way they set it up, there is an opportunity for you to play this game the way you want to play it. They showed you a sprint very briefly. They also, when you were shooting and attacking enemies, they didn't have a whole lot of ADSing. So you weren't aiming down sights a la Call of Duty, which is very classic Halo. The grapple hook was used in the exact way you would expect a Spartan to use it, for traversal, as a weapon, as defense. And you saw it happening quickly. You're fighting the Banished, particularly for those who are not lore nerds like myself. I mean, I'm a huge lore nerd. So what they did was they set this timeline further after Halo Wars 2, which suggests that the war with Cortana is largely complete and humanity lost. Meaning that you can fight the Banished as your primary enemy, which is back to what people wanted. The Prometheans didn't offer that main enemy that people wanted. There was a ton of gameplay in this reveal, a cinematic style in this reveal. You had Chief and his new kind of companion throughout the story, and there's contention between the two. I love the voice actor there, which was fantastic. He's the same voice actor that plays Octane in Apex. Really cool that they're mad at each other. They're trying to take down the Banished, and the Banished didn't show you their top dog. That's one of Atriox's lieutenants, which is all the more exciting. And so I was very high on this. And if you were not very high on it because you prefer the multiplayer stuff, you haven't seen it yet. If you were still a little bit timid about it because you're not sure or you're counting pixels, if you're counting pixels, back off. Like Breath of the Wild's a blast of a game and it runs on the Switch. It's a fun factor, and it showed to me there's a lot of fun. It's open world, and yet you can crit path this bad boy. They said it's bigger than Halos 4 and 5 together. But you can
that's a big deal.
It.
Yes.
And that's fantastic. You can play this game the way you want to play it, and it is a platform now, meaning you can experience what you want. They can add content in a way that perhaps they couldn't have done with Halo 5. They've clearly abandoned the Reclaimer saga, as they should have. It just didn't land with fans.
It just didn't land well. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And so props to them for what they're creating. And I'm all there for it. I thought the art style was beautiful, and there's a lot to unpack over the next 2, 3, 4 months. But what a way to launch in. And remember, folks, you can play this with your friends on their Xbox One S, their One X, their Series X, X Cloud, and their PC. It doesn't matter what you have. Doesn't matter what they have. You can play on one of those devices together with your friends, and that's the joy.
Yeah, and that's a great way to put it. That is definitely a great way to put it. Real quick, let me just catch up on some of the super chats once again. Viper XT drops an outstanding $5 super chat and said, "I gave the show an 8 out of 10. I would have liked something from Ninja Theory and some more surprises, but overall still good. We have Game Down Sights drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, I loved Halo and people are bashing it and using paused screenshots to hate on the Medium, Fable, Avowed, with those Oblivion vibes. That's how I got it. He goes, what a show. He enjoyed it. And you know what, dude? Listen, don't pay any attention to people that are taking blurry pause shots of a game and trying to put that as the actual product. That is just block that person. I'm telling you, just block and move on. It works. X Burke drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, even after a well-executed show today, it's crystal clear Microsoft could promise to visit your house with $1 million check and people would still be upset. You know what, dude? I think you're on to something. We have here DRAM 90 drops another outstanding super chat of $2 and said, I love Halo. I just feel it needed to nail it 100%. So I'm not sure if you felt that way. Yeah, let me know. Don't drop another super chat, dude. Just reach out to me in the chat. If someone sees it, just we'll answer the question. Dead Rising Ninja drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Halo Infinite gameplay looks great. I love how they're going to how there is." For the love of Joe, with this chat, sometimes it just goes right by. I'm so sorry about that. I hate not reading it. Okay, it says, okay, I apologize. He said,
Which
"Halo
one are you
looks yeah." No, he says, "Halo looks awesome for me. It looks like the campaign is going to be so much fun to get into. The grappling hook is a great addition." That was Viper XT, and Dead Rising Ninja said, Halo Infinite gameplay looks great. I love how there is more going on in the world, and they kept the sprint. Yes, the sprint was going to be a big deal. I don't know why I like the sprint. I think you need it. And we have Noom Sabat 45 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Guys, stop calling the cutscene CGI. It was in-engine assets on display, solid showing all around through by Xbox." And Shastri drops a $5 super chat. "Thank you for being here, but thank you for your generosity." He says, "Hey, Boom, great show with Major Nelson. Well deserved. Low point of the show was absent of Hellblade." And see, that I agree. Great show overall. Keep the positive energy. Thank you for that. And right after him, we have Resident Link Ninja, who drops another $5 super chat and says, "I got to say, I love Boomhammer's sassy attitude towards the chief." And yeah, so did I. Thought that the arguments between them was I think it's going to make for good comedy. To be honest with you, I can tell he's going to be super funny. And there, look, and the new comedy relief. Well, there you go for that. And you know what? Let's bring in Crispy Bomb and Halo, in my opinion, delivered for at least for me as a gamer. I walked away from 5 disappointed, not with the graphics, not with the gameplay, but the story. And in what I saw already has my interest peaked to an epic level that 5 through an entire campaign did not do. That's just me. What did you walk away from this gameplay trailer from?
Well, I'll tell you this. Number one, if you haven't watched at least that trailer in 4K,
You should. Yes.
you are disservicing yourself and you're talking out of your ass. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I put out a tweet with the Justice League and the whole Marvel universe bowing to Master Chief. And I looked at that gameplay and I said, I feel like a god. I am going against everyone. Like,
Yeah.
there's no extra help. There's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, this is me doing all of this. And it almost gives me kind of like, Doom Eternal vibes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm fine with that because it doesn't seem like over, like I always feel like Doom Eternal gives me too much weaponry, too much stuff. But it's just like Chief's constantly picking up new weapons, and he's
and there was some new weapons that they showed for the first time. Like, I don't know what it was, like shooting like missiles or shotgun. That red weapon he was carrying was awesome.
And that's what a Spartan is. Like, I may not have played all the Halos, but I know the lore pretty well. And in Reach, I was actually a little disappointed because they really didn't force you to pick up the weapons like they said, that Spartans are trained to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that, like, you're Chief, you're not anybody else. You have nobody to rely on, at least at that point, what we saw. You know what I'm saying? And you were going into a battle. Like, it's like you versus 100, and that's a big deal. I mean, that makes you feel like a god and especially that grappling hook. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, excuse my language, but wow. That made me feel like they have implemented certain things in the game that can coexist with the whole, the Halo franchise in general. And for them to be able to do that, and like I said, if you haven't watched it in 4K, you don't see the visuals that I saw.
Yeah, it's worthy of your time. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. It's like 8 minutes, right? Eight,
Yeah, something like
9.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, take the 8 minutes and watch it, and then come back and maybe you said some stupid stuff and apologize. That's what I'm saying. But
So, yeah.
but the biggest thing is like the beginning of it was actually really interesting. Like putting the armor together and everything. Like this.
Yes.
I believe that we're gonna get upgrades. I think they're gonna take, and I always go back to Gears. Everybody makes fun of me for it, but I think we're gonna take, what Act 2 and 3 in Gears 5, and they're just gonna own it. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be able to go where you want. Like when I saw the map, when they showed the map, I was like, yes, this is what, you know what I mean? You have to have significant areas all the time. And if you're going to do an open world game, you have to do it right. And you have to, make it interesting, very few lull points where you're just walking. You know what I mean? Because I hate that. I hate just running or walking to an area. Like just have like these really thought out battles or objectives in those areas, and it'd be constantly happening, and then easily be able to find a vehicle or something. Like these simple little things that I saw, like as soon as he got out, he can jump in the Warthog. You know what I'm saying? Like whether if it doesn't make sense or not, I don't care. It's about the gameplay, and the gameplay makes me want to complete every single Halo now. And that's what I think most people that have a logical thought process say, wow, this game makes me want to play all the old ones to learn everything that's involved with it.
No, it's the truth. Yeah, and you know what? We did get the confirmation that this is a bit of a soft reboot, so to speak. Phil Spencer actually said that. Nukem, let's get your opinion on Halo. Were you impressed with what they had to show? We got to finally see Chief in action and in real gameplay. I know some people in the chat are like, "Oh, look at he was playing on easy," but I don't think that's the point. I don't think you're whoever's playing the game, you want them to get wrecked. You just want to show off the game. Were you impressed with what they showed?
Well, first off, kudos to 343 for actually showing gameplay. No more pre-rendered cutscenes or anything of that sort. You actually saw what it was like to have your boots on the ground, so to speak. But honestly, I got tingles when it started, seeing the Mjolnir armor come together and the narrator talking about, you need this armor, you need a special soldier, to kind of go into battle. Got a little bit of goosebumps. It was great. Started out awesome. But then after that, I kind of wish that Master Chief had stayed aboard of that Raven or whatever the heck you call him. Once he jumped out of the Warthog and it became apparent to me like 4K or not 4K. You guys got to take one thing you got to consider here. You got to take off the Halo fan aspect of this game, and I'm going to call it like I see it. If this game did not have the amazing Master Chief, which he looked extremely well, by the way, I did like Master Chief. He looks awesome. If this game wasn't Halo, if it wasn't Master Chief, and this was just shown off as a game, like a new IP coming out for Xbox, how would you feel about that? Because honestly, I was let down. And mostly I was let down by the presentation. Because honestly, this game did not scream to me, this is a next-gen Halo. This, to me, honestly, it looked next to no better than Halo 5. In some ways, I think it might have been a little worse.
Question for you, my friend.
Yeah.
It's a two-part question, I suppose. Do you think can it be a next-gen title given their smart delivery is the first part of this, given that they are working, from Xbox Ones through to Series X and xCloud? And then second question or second, I suppose, comparison is when you look at the landscape of something like, say, God of War on a PS4 Pro, how do you, in your mind, from your take, see those comparisons and feel about it in that respect? Thanks for letting me interrupt you, bud.
Well, I mean, the scope and scale is there. I mean, obviously, we're seeing a few things tried new with Halo, the open world aspect of things, right? But technical stuff aside, like popping and different things, like, you know, if you compare, resolution is not graphics. Graphics are different, a totally different thing. It's all about textures. It's about lighting. It's about the shaders. It's about making things look realistic. So, like, you know, you look at games like Red Dead Redemption or even the latest Ghost of Tsushima, don't get me wrong, it's got some graphical issues, but the environments look pretty gorgeous and looks really good. I don't know, man. It was just something felt off to me, just kind of lost it. I mean, the gameplay is going to be solid. 343 knows what they're doing, so that I'm confident in. All I'm just going to say is I guess I'm going to have to see more. I'm hoping that the story is legit. I do like the fact they are bringing in the Banished here. That is fantastic. I think we might have some legitimate villains for a change. And again, the gunplay, you know, that's typical Halo. That's the kind of stuff that brings me in. I'm going to buy the game regardless, and I'm going to spend. Yes, Niv is going to spend his $80 on this one game because I refuse to buy it through Game Pass. So, but all that stuff aside, I was just disappointed. I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm not saying there wasn't things to love about what I saw today, but it just didn't ooze like, oh my God, that game. I need to have this, and I need that Xbox Series X for this game. That's the bottom line, and that's why I was disappointed. This was supposed to be the home run for me. They stepped up to the plate, and the guy got out, and as far as I'm concerned, he hit it past second base. It didn't go over the fence, in my opinion. I'm very different than other people. Maybe I came in with bigger expectations. I love Halo. I'm not the biggest fan in the world. I'm not going to sit there and say I read the books and I know every ounce of the lore and stuff, but I don't think you need to. I think you just need to enjoy a damn game. But that's where I left it. There were some cool things. Like I said, there was some cool weaponry there. Master Chief looks amazing. I mean, you know, that dude that was with him, his facial animations and graphics on his face, he still looked like a drunk homeless dude. So I don't know what the deal is up with that. Like, is there anybody in the Xbox studios outside of Ninja Theory that actually knows how to really like step it up graphically wise? Because all these faces and animations I see are not impressing me. Maybe I'm ruined with the Sony aspect, but their shit's been killing it, man. Like, sorry, but The Last of Us 2 looks more next gen than almost anything I've seen in the last little while, and that for me is part of the problem. All these games feel like they're being built as Game Pass extensions. You know, the whole Infinite thing. I'm starting to wonder, like, they took a number off the name. It's not Halo 6 anymore. But is this game going to be planned to be like, oh, it's going to be 10 hours long, and then we're just going to pop content? We never really get an official sequel. They just keep adding because they want to bring more people into Game Pass. Like, man, I'm getting fed up with Microsoft. They're starting to lose me completely, man. I'm just going to stop at that.
Listen. You know what? You go ahead, Luke.
Well, I don't understand Noof's frustration, and Noof, clarify for me as you like, my friend. What was missing for you? If facial animation, this felt to me like an artistic approach and a bit of a change there. When I played Last of Us 2, there was a clear intention for everything to be visceral and realistic so that every pain point was felt. And I don't think Halo wants to do that. I mean, for goodness sakes, when they shoot grunts, blood disappears almost instantaneously, and they do grunt birthday party. They try to have a bit more lightheartedness. And we know the game, to ease your worry about 10 hours, we know the game is bigger than Halos 4 and 5 together.
Yeah, so they've already said that.
Yeah, that suggests a 15 to 20 hour golden crit path there. I do think you are correct, though, that they are going to add stuff consistently. They said they were going to add stuff, but they will be adding content to serve Halo Infinite as a platform, which I think is good. I disagree with you. I think that's a good thing when you have Game Pass subscribers that want content, because what do we want as gamers? More.
Right.
But this is a different business model.
But content used to be called a sequel to a game. Now I feel like we're getting less sequels because they just go, we'll build one engine and we'll just keep extending it. And we're seeing every game now do this season bullshit, like season 5, season 6, season 7. Destiny's already pulling it off. Like, they should be working on Destiny 3. Why are they making like Destiny season 5? Same graphics, same engine. Like,
they're informed though, Noof, by engagement and people playing. They will make Destiny 3 when Destiny 2 stops making money and selling and having users. I think the same could be said for Infinite, which has been 5 years since we had a Halo game. And so there's something to be said for that. If they're giving us a game now in Infinite that has 2 years worth of content, and then they take time off to make the game, and there's a 5 year difference between the launch and the launch of Halo Infinite 2, and then we have 3 years of dull, I think that's still a great thing for gamers. And that would be my counter logic to that point. But I do understand some of the frustration that you're saying.
As long that's at the end of the day, as long as some of the content, whatever they're planning to bring, is still free for the guy that goes out and buys the disc, I guess I'll be somewhat happy with that. And I'm pretty sure Microsoft won't charge their old school fans for that. But yeah.
Yeah,
cool. Thanks, man.
Can I? You mind if I?
Yeah, jump in. Yeah,
quick? Because Noof is a gearhead like me, and through. You know, no matter what he says. But Gears 3, dude, you can go back to Gears 3. They started this whole thing. They literally started this whole thing. And if you played Ram Shadow, you know that content can matter.
Great DLC.
Excellent DLC, by the way.
Probably one of the best DLCs, if not
it was.
the
It was
best
fantastic.
I ever played. And I go and say, like, yes, I understand what you're saying, but in the end, it comes down to what the content and the quality of what they put out. And I hope, because they've already said it, that they do such things, especially for the huge Halo fans, not myself, but the huge Halo fans. I hope they do that. But at the same time, I do feel that there was a I would call it a matte finish to a lot of the world. You know what I'm saying? It felt not glimmering. But does everything glimmer all the time? Does everything have to look perfect? No.
No,
Even when
I
we
mean,
walk in the world, it doesn't in our own lives.
Just one quick point here. Let me point out one thing I saw today, and the one part that my eyeballs really popped open. State of Decay. Now, it was probably some CGI pre-rendered stuff, but that shit right off the bat is it, man. When the game looks like that, count me in. I want more stuff that looks like that, with that level of shaders, that level of fidelity, that clarity, fantastic facial model. You know, like that sucked me in. That was like, wow. I could care less for State of Decay, and that's the crappy part. And I know we're getting off topic, but you know, I don't think State of Decay is going to look anywhere close to what they tease us with. But you know, that's what I'm kind of looking for. If this makes any sense.
You know what it reminds, and you know what, like if somebody doesn't see the visuals, just think about Gears 4 beta, bro. Like it was absolutely horrible. You know what I'm saying? It visually looked absolutely horrible. And if a demo from Halo Infinite looks as good as it did, in my opinion, I feel like they could, you know, amp it up.
Oh, they're going to. They're just, in my opinion,
they did say that.
Yeah.
They said the ray tracing is on its way in a later patch, which makes sense, I think, when you're trying to ease people into your next gen. They're not trying to hard stop them the way PS5 is. Just something to note, because I agree with what you're saying, boys. It does make sense visually, but they've also said, hey, that part's coming in the future.
Yeah, no, real quick. You know what? Let's move on to Dreadpool. Dreadpool. Again, everyone has a different opinion. Everyone's opinion matters, whether it be good, bad, or somewhere in the middle. But I'm interested to know, what were your takeaways from the Halo demo? Oh, there he is. There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
I was looking at it as a gameplay. It was very smooth. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, that's pretty good control, because everything that happened, the way it happened, you know, switching through the weapons, everything was really good. I was impressed. You know, I liked it. And the way I'm looking at Halo is the fact that the way I always look at Halo, I know it's a sequel. We know it's, you know, a reboot in essence. But as all Halo, it's always been you're fighting and running and gunning. You know, they've expanded it to open world. You're still going to go inside the Halo ring.
Yeah.
You're going to go into your corridor shooter mode anyway. So, and it's cool to see that with the corridor shooter that we have, I'm thinking it's going to be also a little bit more open. So it's not just, you know, point A to point B, and you have to snake through everything. Now you have options on which way to go. And if you go the wrong way, you'll have Covenant on the backside and Covenant on the front side. So the way I'm looking at it is, I'm going to have fun playing the game like I always do, with or without my friends. You know, it has a unique approach that most other games don't, which is why it's Halo. I mean, you can't really do anything other than say that. I mean,
Uh-oh. He dropped out again.
Are you still there?
Yeah, you dropped out.
So, anywho, but I liked it. I was impressed. I'm not looking at it as, let's see all the little flukes until the game is actually launched. Then I'll look at it, when it is, and see all the little flukes, all the little pop-ins, I mean, it's a beautiful game, and the direction that they're going is their version of artistic. It's realism, but yet, not hyper realism. I mean, have we seen any real trees? The stuff that we've seen, does the grass look real? No, I mean, it's still Halo. It still has its soul that it's Halo. You know what I mean? I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just lost for words. You know what I mean? It's plain and simple. I liked it. I don't know what else. If you guys want to nitpick, then that's on you guys on how to nitpick the way you see it. But that's your choice too.
No, I absolutely agree, and I agree with you. Like I said, everyone has their opinions. Me personally, it's Halo. It's what I wanted. It's better graphics, I thought, than 5, and I think this is a demo. And this is a demo that's being built in a time where people are not in the studios. And I know that nobody wants to give them the benefit of the doubt, but Sony can do whatever they want, and that's fine. And I think that's the community as a whole. I'm walked away with it very excited. And regardless of whether or not it was in Game Pass or it's not, it's a game that I'm going to play from start to finish. And it looks like they fixed a lot of the issues I had with 5. And Sean D, we know that you pre-game were talking up this game big time. So let's get you. You've been chomping at the bit to get into this game. What were your takeaways from Halo Infinite?
So my opinion is a little different from everybody else because everybody else seems to be big Halo fans. And I didn't even start playing Halo where I actually beat a game until Halo 5. So when I saw the game, I was in it. Like, I know a lot of people have been talking about the graphics and pop-in and everything like that. I was not focused on that. What I was focused on was the actual gameplay, and that had me hooked in. When I saw the grappling hook, I was like, yes, this is nice. When I saw that they did the whole pop open the map, and they literally just popped open the map so they could show off that, hey, this is going to be open world. You're going to be able to choose where you can go. That also sold me in. I know that maybe some old school Halo fans might not like the open world, but in my opinion, I'm kind of like, wow, we finally got there. What took us so long? Like, Halo seems like that type of game that should be open world. And I'm not saying, I know so many games are open world, but this game actually feels like it should be. As far as I saw, like a lot of people in chat, they're saying Halo doesn't look next gen. And that's because Halo is not next gen. They actually, at the very end of the show, they actually say 5 games are actually being built for the Xbox Series X, and Halo isn't one of them. So maybe that's why they're not doing the ray tracing right away. Maybe it's because of COVID and they got pushed back on their schedule, but that doesn't change the fact that Halo is never going to be next gen. It is a cross-gen game.
Yes.
So it's their showpiece as far as it's more of this is 343's chance to show that they got a handle on Halo. It was not meant to be the showpiece. If it was meant to be the showpiece, when they showed the Xbox Series X, they would have showed Halo right with it, but they didn't. They showed Hellblade 2, which is actually being developed for the Xbox Series X. Also, one thing I want to say, I love how Microsoft can be funny with basically the hate they get. So everybody was hating on the fact that we didn't get gameplay on May, and I was one of those people. So I kind of love that at the very beginning of Halo, after they do the trailer showing the armor come together, that they actually show the start screen, kind of like, you guys wanted gameplay, we're going to actually show you somebody actually playing the game. So I thought that was really cool. Also, the joke that Grounded did, that was great. Cyberpunk, that was awesome. Great. I love that they have that ability to kind of like
laugh at themselves. Yes.
But yeah, Halo was I'm in, and I am not a Halo guy, and I am in. If that's anything to anybody.
Well, I mean, it's a statement because everyone who's a Halo fan. Again, not everyone on an umbrella, but a good portion of the community that are Halo fans that were looking forward to seeing Halo Infinite running walked away with this with a big cheese smile. And the fact that you're not a huge Halo fan, and the fact that you're talking about it in a way that you're giddy about enjoying what you've seen, Microsoft did their job, and you can't ask for anything more than that. Now, what I want to do is, I believe I got to everybody in this particular topic. Now, obviously, this is a big show. It was only an hour. They showed a lot. This show is only 2 hours, and obviously, it's a huge panel. So what I want to do, I want to change things up a little bit, because normally I have show notes, and it's just there was no way I can get it to do show notes today because there was so much going on. I want each one of us to take a particular game that again, it could be the same game. We can have 3 people talking about the same game. That's fine. But I want you to take a game for you that was the standout of the show that you want to see more of, and I want you to give us your particular opinions about it. And I'll start with Zemi Games. For you, Zemi, out of the 20 plus games that they showed, what was one of the games that impressed you that you want more of?
I mean, I would go with Fable, but I mean, there has to be somebody else that's going to talk about Fable, so I'm not even going to go there. For me, probably Tell Me Why, because that, the last time that we saw it, it just absolutely just got my attention. I love that style of gameplay. I love what Don't Nod, does with the Life is Strange series.
Yes.
And I just love that format, right? And just the narrative of like a brother and sister who came from, a let's just say questionable household, and there is possibly some abuse involved, and you're coming together to figure out what happened, and what your mother was like and why she was like that, and all this different stuff just like really, really just grabbed my attention. I love the gameplay like that. Life is Strange and stuff like that. And I just thought it looked absolutely amazing. I agree with you. The game just looks stunning. Graphically, I think it looks really, really good. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be a huge, super, ultra realistic, amazing textures, ray tracing everywhere. Your eyes are going to be bleeding out because the game looks so good. It's not going to be like that, and that's okay, because it's following the art style that the developers want to do, and I thought it looked gorgeous, and I love story as a gamer, and I cannot wait to play that.
Yeah, and you touched on it. Story, I think, is super important. People overlook it because they want a Last of Us 2 looking game, and I hear you. If that's what you want, then maybe the Xbox platform isn't for you, or on multiple platforms where you can have the Last of Us 2, and also something like Tell Me Why, because I think Tell Me Why is going to appeal to a wide audience of gamers who are both hardcore and, of course, the casuals, because I think that their stories that Donut tells are really emotionally strung. And this one looks like it's going to be one of those heartstring pulled kind of scenarios, because obviously it's a brother and a sister, so there's a real bond there. And I don't know. I mean, again, I think that's great that that's your game. That's the one game of the show that really stood out to you. That's outside of a quote unquote AAA banger. So Insipid Ghost, I want to go to you. Like I said, the easy answer, I think, in our opinions, is going to be Halo. But what is another game for you that stood out? That jumped off the page, so to speak, for you?
Oh, man. So I yelped during 2 different times.
I love that. I yelped. I love it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. But I really did. And one of them, of course, Halo. And we've had that discussion. The other one, again, at the top of the show, State of Decay 3. I loved State of Decay 2. Not at launch. I liked it at launch. But the Juggernaut Edition show, which is the most recent one that is now doing very well on Steam and doing very well on the consoles, showcased Microsoft's resolve to continue supporting things that don't launch well. Master Chief Collection, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay. And the promise of Undead Labs going with Xbox Game Studios was not realized in State of Decay 2. It was showcased and teased a bit. Much better scale, lots of stuff, story campaign. There's a lot of great stuff in State of Decay 2. But the admittedly in-engine render that they were doing, or they clearly, that's not full gameplay, does suggest the scope that they are going for with State of Decay 2 and the direction that they would like to take it. And I leap for joy at that, because that Undead Labs was a very small team, and they've been with Microsoft for some time now. And we are likely to get a wonderfully healthy set of releases from Xbox Game Studios over the next 4 years.
Yes.
And State of Decay 3 looks to be far out, and it looks to be high budget. And I love that for Undead Labs. I've met those guys. They're wonderful people, and they work hard, and they love their craft. And so I'm really interested to see where this goes, because post-apocalyptic games are a dime a dozen. State of Decay is a special approach to that.
Yes.
It's special. And so that is my one apart from Halo that I would celebrate. And boom, if I may, we're a little over halfway through this show. For these amazing people in chat watching, all of us on this panel make content. If you get a chance, guys, if you're not following Boom Show, follow Boom Show. Hit the like button. But check out Noof and Crispy and Dreadful and Shandy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Zebby, and of course the Xbox Expansion Pass. Please support us, because we all are a community, and it means the world when you do. To have 420 people watching, and then you guys go check out our stuff too, would mean the world.
Yes, and certainly, and again, obviously, all of their links are in the show notes. All you have to do is one click. It's not even going to cost you a penny. You go there, you click, you hit the subscribe, you hit the like button, and trust me, we definitely appreciate it, because obviously there are some channels are going to go up and down, and that's just the way it is. And the support that you give us inspires us to continue to create content, because you got to remember, folks, this is done on when people have lives, that marriages, jobs, other stuff outside of the content creation, and we do it because of the community that we love, and the community that it loves us. And to support your local content creator who maybe doesn't have 67,000 subs. Trust me, it's the little guys that appreciate it, and you'll get. And like for me, I try to answer everyone. Tonight's a little difficult. I usually like to say hello to everyone, but everyone that writes in, that leaves a comment, even if you leave an a-hole comment, I mean, if it's cursing and it's completely rubbish, I will just erase it. But if it's I usually answer everyone, and I think that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to talk as a community, and I think supporting is the big thing. So Luke, thank you for that, dude. That's actually a great thing. I think everyone should follow everybody on this panel. That is a big deal. But I want to go to Crispy. But Crispy, let me just catch him some of these massive super chats. First of all, X Burke drops another $5 super chat and says, well, I don't agree with Noof. I respect his honesty. He definitely comes across sincere, and I believe he is sincere. He's not doing it for clicks. Trust me, I know Noof personally, and it's just how he feels. And you know what? Some people don't like it, and that's okay. Starlord14 drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, boom, congratulations on being in direct contact with Microsoft. Thank you for that, dude. That is huge. You deserve it. You are big time. You and in my favorite Xbox channel, dude. That's really awesome. Awesome of you to say. I truly appreciate that. And Noom, am I saying it right? Yes, Noom Sabat 45 drops another super chat of $10 and says, artistic design is not meant to be photorealistic so it can reach a younger audience and make more money. The gameplay will be there. I want fun games, not just a movie like gamers do. Hey, listen, that's I completely understand that. I again, it's why I have Sony's console for their exclusives only. That's the only time I play on that console is for their exclusives. Once I'm done with their exclusives, it's back exclusively to the Xbox. And I'll play a Switch when a new game comes out. But, that's just the way it is. Starlord14 drops another super chat of $10 and says, respectfully disagree with Noob. A base game and expansions work for social games. Constant sequels stops the growth of the community around multiplayer title. Many annual games have suffered from this. And you know what? I mean, that there is something to what you're saying there. That is for sure. Let's see who else is. We got a couple more super chats. I'm sorry. Noom Sabat once again drops another $10 super chat, and it said this message today was something for everyone. Plus, with Game Pass, you can buy a console and get 20 plus new games for $15. Can't beat it. Kill the Xbox. Got no games narrative, and that is a great point because they in fact did. And we have DJ Birdo Das drops a $2 super chat and said, I never cared for State of Decay, but man, 3 got my attention, and you and a lot of people. Viper XT drops another super chat of $5. He says Stalker 2 was a standout that had me wanting to see more. Yeah, that's going to be a big game, I believe. But Crispy, for you personally, what was your standout game outside of Halo?
Oh, it's got to be Avowed, man. Like,
yes, that's a good one.
That game has me intrigued only because Obsidian's making it, and I know what they're capable of. And even Outer Worlds, like, I still go back to it here and there. Like, and I'm a huge multiplayer gamer, but even playing by myself, the interactions with the people around, you know, the NPCs, everything else, like, dude, give us that big budget Obsidian game,
and that's what it looks like, dude.
I will be super excited because Fallout New Vegas is my favorite Fallout of all time. Okay, and they did it right, and I mean, for the love of God, just sell Fallout to Obsidian, Xbox, you know, just Bethesda, just get rid of it because you ruined the whole game. Like
No,
you had to do it. You had to do it right, and you didn't do it right. All we asked for is to be able to play with multiple people, and you turn it into a whole-on multiplayer thing, and that's not what I wanted. Okay, I love RPGs. I love that Obsidian is doing something, and from what somebody else said, I can't remember who, but Pillars of Eternity. This is the big budget of it. You know what I'm saying? This is the master race, as we like to say. I saw great visuals, and I also saw something that intrigues me and wants me to come back and learn more. And that was something that I was very happy with. I was like, wow, like when he pulled out that sword, I was like, holy shit, that shit looks crazy.
And started doing the glyphs. That was dope.
You know, and that's, and just to know that, you know, Obsidian's going to put that story in there, and you're going to have choices because that's what they do. You do what you want. You want to be evil. You want to be good. You want to be in between. You can do that. Like I said, I think on a Breakfast with Boom in the past, I played neutral in Fallout New Vegas, which was apparently extremely hard to do. Okay. I went through the whole thing and I was neutral, and that was incredible for me. I got a huge achievement that said like 1% out of like the whole, you know what I mean? And that was fun, but it was also intriguing because in the end I could walk into any settlement and be able to do what I want because nobody was going to mess with me, you know? And that's something that, you know, I think they could bring back even better than what they did with Outer Worlds. I feel like Outer Worlds is just kind of a scratch on the surface, and Avowed, it could be something really special.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I immediately got Skyrim vibes. I think that if you're going to have anyone making a AAA big budget RPG, Obsidian is your guy. And I think that it just goes to show you how big of an acquisition they actually were, because they're working on 3 games. You know, say what you want about, Outer Worlds, you know, it's just DLC. Outer Worlds was amazing last year. And the fact that they're continuing it, which, by the way, they weren't originally going to, from what we understand. And then the fans pushed the envelope, and here we are. We're getting DLC, and who knows how long they're going to continue to support this game. It could be 5 more DLCs after that. And
I
then
think that
they have.
I think that they said that there's going to be 2 DLC packs.
Oh, so that's 2. Okay,
expansions,
so you have
Oh, that's
2
awesome.
expansions. So there you go. So a game that was originally going to be technically quote unquote one and done, which you can go in and still do a lot of stuff. You're going to get 2 DLC expansions, and then they're working on Grounded, which again, Grounded may not be for you. But not every game is for every gamer, so there's a good chance that someone is going to enjoy that. It could potentially be the Minecraft crowd that really enjoys this game. And listen, look, I don't care who you are. They said Sea of Thieves was a piece of shit, right? Because it didn't have content. Well, guess who has taken over Steam? Guess who has had more players playing that game in the last, I don't know, 45 or 60 days? Sea of Thieves. They have made a comeback, and I've always applauded. Again, Sea of Thieves, not for me, but there's no way that I would dump on that game because it's for somebody, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for Grounded. So that's actually a good pick.
Don't sleep on Grounded, bro. Don't sleep on Grounded. I'm telling you. Watch. That's gonna be the new Minecraft, yo. Watch.
Yes, and you know what? We have to welcome to the show who came
Hello.
late, but he's here. Joe, what's up, dude?
Hey, do I sound all right on your end?
You sound perfectly fine, sir.
Awful. I just hate your voice.
Oh, you shut your beautiful mouth before I smooch it. No, because I'm trying the new RTX voice, which is canceling out all the air conditioning in the background. So this
You
is
can't hear
amazing.
anything,
Thank
so
you.
it's great.
Oh my God! Shout out to Husk. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, I saw that in the DMs. You know what, Joe? You came in the nick of time because we're at a point. You know, we talked about the presentation, and most of us agreed that it was very well done as opposed to May 14th.
Yeah.
We talked about Halo. And now we're at a point now where and again, you're coming into literally the perfect timing for you. If you want to pick Halo, that's fine because you weren't in the original conversation. What was the standout title of this Xbox event for you personally?
First off, can I just say one thing?
Sure, say whatever you want.
Why can't we be happy?
I don't know, dude. I don't
know. But listen, like if you didn't like it, and that's fine. That's great. Don't like it. That it wasn't your jam. That's fair. But I've seen a lot of bashing over the head with this conference, and it's getting in nauseum. Like one of my as just a production, this was nowhere near, or Sony's production was nowhere near the level of polish that Microsoft was today. I think it was fantastic. The level of production, the way things just felt so fluid and great. The game that spoke out to me, and Luke, you're gonna you know it. It's Fable, man. Zemi, you feel me right with this right now? Fable gets me hyped because they needed to answer one question. Do you understand Fable? Because this is not Playground's game. They didn't make it, right? Rip Iron, was it Iron Horse or Ironhead?
Lionhead.
Sorry, I didn't say Ironhead.
Fake fan.
Fake fan over here. Oh my
I second
goodness.
that motion.
But like Luke will know, when I saw the fairy, just fly around, I was just like, is this Fable? He's like, if this is Fable, that fairy's dying. It's just how that fairy is going to die, and seeing it just being just snatched by the frog's tongue, and then just seeing the animation from her face was amazing. Now, again, sure, it's CG, but you kind of understood as a Fable fan, fake or not, that they understood what makes this game special. So
They
that
had the
was
same narrator too, by the way. That was pretty cool.
Yes, and I was just like, when I heard that, because it is one of the guys from Monty Python, if I'm not mistaken. I was just like, "Yep, this is it. We're in for a ride." And the only thing I'm a little depressed about, or a little disappointed, if any, is that we didn't see enough gameplay, or none. We know that this game's been in production for over 4 years, and that's that bums me out. And the rumor that it's an MMO kind of dampens my vibe a little bit. But if it's not, and that rumor's fake, and let's pray to God it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a single player game with some sort of multiplayer aspect.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to. You see, because one of the things, my takeaways from the Fable, reveal, there are a couple. First of all, Playground Games has been confirmed as doing it. We all knew that already, but the confirmation is great. More importantly, its existence was needed. Like, we all knew it. The worst kept secret in gaming, Playground Games making Fable. We don't know it, but they're doing it. So that we had two big confirmations. We got that it exists. Playground Games is doing it. But with that said, and this is where I have to just turn over to Zemi for a second, is that the humor that has accompanied Fable 1, 2, and 3 that Zemi himself was afraid was going to be removed for a Witcher style game apparently was put in there. That levity was put in there to explain to classic fans that yes, we hear you. That humor, all the chickens you want to kick, you'll be able to kick the shit out of them.
That's right. That's right. Well, I mean, and that's like my whole thing is if you don't have that same humor, then don't call it Fable. Just name it something else and make a brand new IP. But that was actually probably the biggest. Well, obviously, I was super excited to see that it gets, that it got formally announced and that it's confirmed and that we know that it's happening, right? Because everything was just rumor and speculation before this, right? But what really excited me is that within that 25 seconds, they were able to just fully capture the essence of what Fable is, light fantasy. Well, not really light fantasy. I mean, there's fantasy, right? But with like a lightness to it and almost like a childness to it, like a storybook kind of fantasy. With that British humor, they were able to capture everything that I think Fable really, really is, at least to me, in that 25-second, trailer, which really, really got me excited and has me extremely hyped to see anything else that Playground Games will come out with.
Yeah. Also, if I could just say one other thing to hop on, I don't know who said it in the chat, or before. Avowed looked freaking awesome.
It did.
And to me, like, that was my next highlight. Which, again, another CG trailer, but give it the benefit of the doubt here. To me, even as a Sony fan, I did not take that trailer as like, oh man, Sony's nervous. Who should be nervous is Bethesda, because that game
exactly
nuts. When you see the rune, like the guy do the rune on his hand, then like he grips it, and it's just like pure power and awesome, like Captain Marvel punching Thanos. Like I was in on that game, dude. I don't know. Oh man, I really enjoyed this conference, guys.
Everyone's crapping on Bethesda, but I'm telling you right now, as soon as we see Elder Scrolls 6, it's going to look as good as Avowed did. Like it is,
and I definitely don't doubt that for sure. I think whether we get it in this year or in 15 years, it's coming. Nonetheless. Well,
look at Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and then look at Skyrim, and then you'll see exactly what I mean. There's going to be a huge difference between Skyrim and Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you know what? Let's move on to the other panel members. And I believe we did get, of course, most people, but we need to get Dreadpool and Shandi in here. Dreadpool, for you, outside of Halo, what was your top pick or your biggest surprise of this show?
Well, I was going to talk about Fable, so we're going to move on from that because we all know I want to play as Master Chief in Fable.
That would be dope. I like that.
But what was it? I had it here. Oh, yes, the gunk. That's what I don't want to talk about. What I think, what I want to know is definitely the one thing that everybody seems to have forgotten already. It was like the biggest surprise and the biggest like announcement that they did that nobody really like contemplated or even is looking into, like how truly phenomenal that this is happening. And that's Dragon Quest.
Yes.
The first time on Xbox.
That's all. You're right. It's a big deal, but that was pre-show. That's probably why we're missing.
Was it pre-show? Did I get it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, man. My bad.
That's okay. No, it's still part of this.
It's a great choice, though. Great choice, dude. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. It's been the first time on Xbox. I mean, we've all played it on Nintendo and
sure.
But it's like finally, and the characters look great. The gameplay. I mean, it showed gameplay per se. I mean, I don't know.
No, it actually did
It
show
was
gameplay.
choreographed.
Yeah. No, it was.
You know what
I
I
don't know
mean?
if it was choreographed, but that was actually gameplay, and it's the deluxe edition, which all the DLC is in there,
Mhm.
and it's in Game Pass. So go crazy.
So that's really it, man. I want to see more of it. I want to be able to play this finally on my Xbox and xCloud. You know, if you really want to go old school Nintendo feel.
No, and that's a great pick. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have actually forgotten about the pre-show, that they actually did show off a couple of really interesting things. And you know what? I mean, listen, again, you don't have to be the dude bro shooter guy. You can enjoy other games. I think that, you know, when you look at Xbox over the course of its 20-year history, that people it's the shooter box. It's the shooter box. Well, there can be more than that. Yes, sure. Are there going to be shooters? Yes, but can there be other things like a Dragon Quest? By the way, no one's going to mention it, and I'll mention it now. That Tetris looked goddamn awesome. I am
That did.
sorry.
Flipped out.
Yeah,
It
it is
did.
a great get for this platform. I'll let Joe and anybody that's played it on VR
Yeah.
talk about it.
I have it
what
on
a
VR,
huge-
PS, by the way, and it's awesome.
Yep.
I'm still waiting to find out if we can play Avowed on our refrigerator.
I don't know, but you just never know. You know what, Sean D, you've been sitting there patiently. I don't know what you're going to pick, but I'm interested. And I think a lot of people, we have over 400 people here in the chat. They might want to know, what were your top pick with your one game outside of Halo that was like, yep, this is the one?
All right, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit since I had to wait so long. State of Decay was my wow factor, and that was because seeing that game from what it was at State of Decay 1 and 2 to see what they did, even though it was a CGI trailer, shows that Microsoft is putting money behind them.
Yes.
We're now going to get the game that a lot of us imagined it could be after we finished playing part 1. But the game I actually want to talk on, because there were so many good games at this show. Like, I can't really think of anything I was like, oh, this is terrible. But I wanted to touch on Everwild, because when I watched Everwild, I got that feeling like it actually, like, I actually got like, it like did something to me, like felt it, like while they were, when she was holding the little fawn deer and they took it to the stone and then they did like a ritual to give it life back to like the fawn god or whatever of the game. Like, that game is so pretty, and that game shows that games that aren't realistic can still be like just gorgeous. And it's like, it's one of those games that's similar to Death Stranding, in that we're all like, it looks cool or it can be cool, but we don't know really what it is yet.
That's a strong opinion, dude. I like that.
Still where we're at, but it looks like it's going to be a game that I'm definitely going to sink my teeth into, and I'm really going to be like, wow, this was like a completely different experience from other games on the whole platform itself.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because one of the things that both Major Nelson during the interview that I had with him today and Phil Spencer has said is the word diversity. And you know, again, this is not dumping on Sony, right? This is an attack on Sony, because everyone knows I buy all of their first party stuff. I buy all their collector's edition. I post 10,000 pictures. I'm a huge fan of them. I talk about it all the time. But Sony's games are very just Sony games, right? They are what they are. They're third person, over the shoulder, adult themed, very, you know, great stories, heavy on the graphics, and people like that. And you know what? I'm one of those people. I love those types of games. It really envelops me because I get really attached to the character, and the story means something to me. I love it. But Microsoft is taking a different approach. They're going to have something for everyone. And I think that, because not everyone wants to play The Last of Us. Not everyone wants to play, because if you look at the game demographics to console, to how many of the first party games they buy, folks, the percentages are ultra low. Spider-Man sold 15 million. You say, well, boom, that's a lot of copies. It is. But when you have 115 million consoles, my question is, what happened to the other 100,000?
Well,
right?
Boom. May I? Or you,
please? No. But come on in.
So grass is always greener in this particular case. Noof was talking earlier in the show about he's worried that Xbox is going to go this route of services or games as a service, not updating it and giving new. And then we're also in the same show acknowledging that Sony does something with over-the-shoulder, third-person narrative-driven action games. And there's truth in the spirit of both of those statements. And what do Xbox gamers complain they don't have? Third-person narrative, over-the-shoulder stuff. What does Sony not have as a moneymaker right now? The services to post the numbers that Microsoft were just revealed to show that somehow, some way, they turned some of the most incredible profits in the entire
in the history of the
right
in the history of Microsoft having Xbox as a brand. That's correct.
Absolutely. And so in this generation, we are the losing audience that managed to win whilst losing. It's not like the Wii U or the GameCube or some of the other console duds. In this generation, no one has truly lost in reality. Now, mind share, you can argue a lot of things and you can debate. So the attach rates are an interesting thing to look at. When you look at a 10% attach rate on PlayStation, that's equal to a 20% attach rate on Microsoft or whatnot. There's a lot of ways to break it down and look at it. But the reality is those 10% or those 15 million that sold Spider-Man and where are the other 100 million? The reason that those exclusives are so important is if you look at everything on both platforms and then you say to yourself, all right, I can play Battlefield or Call of Duty anywhere, Fortnite anywhere. I can play that anywhere I want. What's going to sell me to get the one thing I do want? Is it the Uncharted? Is it Horizon? Is it Spider-Man? Is it Sea of Thieves? Is it Halo Infinite? Is it State of Decay? And I think that's the big difference between the two. But there's no doubt that Sony, Microsoft, and anyone else, they look at their competition and want what they don't have.
Yes.
And there's validity in that. I want third-person over-the-top or over-the-shoulder narrative action games. Third parties give them to me. I have my PlayStation for some of them. But I want that. I'm dying for that Arkham stuff. Goodness, we haven't seen Call of Duty or any of the Arkham things at all, and I'm dying for it. But we all want what we don't have, and those attach rates tell a different tale in some respects than the stats might initially jump at us out. And that's the part that I wanted to comment on.
And if I could just jump in for just a quick second there.
By all means.
It's also awesome to see Nintendo have their own thing. The family friendly games, Sony have their own thing, the open world over the shoulder games, the single player experiences. And then Microsoft saying, hey, this is our field. This is the multiplayer space, playing together, the connectiveness. That's what I really liked. That's what I saw that I really liked. And true, Noof, I am also at the same time concerned about as well. But it's awesome to see that they're all doing different things.
You know what? If you are a supporter of multiple platforms, this is where you are a wiener. And I don't mean a wiener. I mean a winner, because you get the chance. You get a chance to play what you want without being stuck behind a one game wall. And that's why, again, I say this with absolute levity. As lighthearted as I could possibly be. People, especially now, or may not be in the financial position to support multiple consoles. It's something I've always done. I don't have any other vices. It's my only vice. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any kind of drugs. I never have, never will. My only vice is gaming. So I figure out a way to make sure the rent is paid, but still support multiple consoles. So me has a choice on what I want to play and what console I want to play on. And I think that is the ultimate. And I said this before, and again, it's not a topic for tonight, but I think that this generation is going to see a rise in percentages when it comes to multi-platform homes. And I'm interested to see that come up in the conversation. But what I want to do is just give you my pick, and then we're gonna get into the scores, because, like I said, we're closing in on 2 hours, and I don't want to keep anyone too long. For me,
sorry, did I get podcast banned because they didn't ask me my pick?
Oh my God! No, you didn't get banned, sir. I didn't ask you. Holy cow! What?
No, I thought it was like the silent majority, and I must have ruined my shot after.
No. Noof, by all means, my brother. What don't you
I'll
give
keep
us your pick on for you? What was the standout of the show for the Xbox showcase?
Well, I wish I could say it was Halo Infinite, like I said, because that was the game if they only showed that today and it was all that I thought it was going to be, I would have been extremely happy. I'm not really disappointed either, but just not exactly blown away. But I'm going to say the game of the show was the game they kind of didn't show at the show, or at least they showed a little bit of the same stuff, and that's Hellblade 2. Senua's, what do you call it? Senua's whatever it is. But Hellblade,
this one is Saga. This one is Senua's Saga.
It's Hellblade 2, because honestly, that's what I'm excited for. I love the first game so much. I even bought it twice. I bought it on PlayStation. I bought it when it came up for Xbox. Thought the game was absolutely amazing. One of my top games of the gen. I mean, yeah, we didn't see a lot. Sort of, I don't know. It's Unreal Engine 5. They're saying it's in engine, which is fantastic. So we didn't see new stuff, but I mean, I'm still blown away by that game, and I can't wait. I wish we had have seen a little bit more today, but obviously it wasn't ready to be shown, which is kind of weird because they could have just left it out and we would have said, okay, we didn't see it, right? So that was kind of weird. But outside of Hellblade 2, I'm going to say there was a couple that just stood out to me. I was really happy to see Psychonauts 2. I think that was one of the original Xbox games that got overlooked back on the original console. I was super happy to see that. Jack Black singing the song. That was fantastic. It looks funky. It's got the stylized graphics. And again, stylized graphics. But, that's a game that always revolved around styles. Double Fine does very stylized games, much like Rare. So Psychonauts and Crossfire X, actually the campaign looked amazing. Can't wait to see what Remedy does with that. So those would be sort of my picks, main pick being Hellblade 2.
Okay, I mean, you know what? I will say that the one disappointment I had is that we didn't get gameplay. I will admit that, and I was hoping that we would see, and that would be your over the shoulder, narrative driven game that people want, and you're going to eventually get. We just didn't get I guess a gameplay or demo of it. For me, the pick of the show, outside of Halo and plenty of others, was the Medium. I thought what they showed was amazing. That dual world thing going on looked incredible. It is going to be. It gave me vibes of oh my god, I blanked on the name. The guy
Silent Hill.
Yeah, no, the guy that wrote the books.
Stephen King.
No, the one for the Xbox. It was an Xbox exclusive. Alan Wake.
Alan Wake.
It gave me
the
Alan
guy that wrote the books. I love you, Boom.
you like that, right? It gave me that vibe, and I haven't had that in a while. And I love spooky games like that. I know Zemi's raring to play. I know he can't wait to play.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah.
While cooking on his wok, by the way. So you know what I want to do is I want to catch up on some of the super chats, because if I miss them, I get very upset. So Resident Link Gaming drops a $5 super chat. I know you have a schedule. If there's not enough time, it's understandable. Would you like to hear? I would love to hear your thoughts on Halo, since I was like, we talked about Halo, dude, in the first, I want to say, if you go to the 36-minute mark, we talk all the way for almost 45 minutes on Halo. You get all of our opinions on it. So just once the show uploads, just rewind it. Sikio Yumi drops a very generous $2 super chat, and they say, congrats on the Major Nelson interview. Great job. Oh, thanks. That's really kind of you to say. I really appreciate that. And JD Gamer drops multiple super chats. The first one is $5, and he says, anybody comparing the Series X and the PS5 showcases and giving Sony a win is clearly a fanboy. Game for game, as Series X beats down PS5 in every category. I would have to say that I think that the better games were here today. I'm not taking anything away from Sony. They got a B+2, but I just think that if you go on what we saw, I just thought it was better. And we didn't get Bugsnax Game of the Year. So, you may be disappointed by that. Who knows? JD Gamer drops another one and says, Series X won in the following categories: racing, FPS, TPS, action, fantasy, RPG, Japanese RPG, even SSD showcase games, Ratchet and Clank versus Medium, XSX1. Bounty Boom drops a very generous $5 and says, like Phil Spencer said, if we make the same games that Sony makes, what's the point? That's a strong opinion. Mario Pampa drops a $10 super chat. Thank you for your extreme generosity. He says, congrats on the Major Nelson interview. Boom. Thought the Xbox show was great. Better than the PS5 show, in his opinion. Can't wait for the medium Halo. And shout out to Bad Bit not spoiling Master Chief Hook to Luke. LOL. Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. Yes, that is the feather in my cap, if you will, when it comes to interviews. I still can't believe I got a chance to hang out for almost half an hour with, of course, Major Nelson. If you missed that, go to my channel and you can check that out. We have here Pixelbit G drops a $5 super chat, says, give Halo props for the dialogue, Brohammer. Are you even listening, Chief? I see 3 anti-aircraft emplacements. LOL, well done. Also, Everwild is fire. Everwild, I think, is going to be a real important piece, and I cannot wait to play with the game. I don't know what it is, but I can't wait to play it. $10 super chat comes in from JD Gamer, the most generous gamer. Thank you so much for being that generous, and of course, being here every time I do a show. He says, there are those in the pony community who have made videos with red circles in them saying, look at the Series X velocity architecture at work with pop-in, all while ignoring Medium's use of it, SMDH in all caps. But, listen, I blocked a lot of people today because of the ridiculousness. And you know what? I say, don't aggravate yourself. Use the arts that I have learned. I will teach them to you that Wilmy Hood has bestowed upon me, and it's the art of blocking. And blocking works. Muting works, makes your timeline really nice, and you don't have to listen to knuckleheads. But let's get into the grades of the show. And Zemi Games, for you personally, what do you give this show?
Definitely a solid A. Yeah, definitely an A all the way. I really enjoyed everything that they showed. Towards the middle of the show, I really did not think that there was, a lull, as a lot of you guys thought there was. I thought that they spaced out a lot of the, smaller, less notable games very, very well in between the more exciting games for me. Everything wasn't perfect. There's always things that they can do to improve. That's why I'm not giving it an A+, but I definitely think it deserves a solid A.
That's and you know what? You have a solid opinion that goes right along with that solid A, and it makes sense. And like I said, everyone's opinion matters. Whether you give it a D or an A, your opinion matters on this show. Next, we're going to go to Insipid Ghost. Insipid, I saw your back and forth with a lot of people in our private DM, and you really enjoyed the show. What would you grade today's Xbox showcase?
Yeah, man, I actually put out a poll on Twitter specifically for that purpose, asking people to write in and to grade it. And right now, a lot of people are saying A's and B's are that's the predominant prevailing attitude. And I also land in the A category. I thought they did a very good job with a tight, well paced show. They had a diverse array of games showcased. If I was able to leave with 3 or 4, I think that's a win. And I think a lot of people were able to leave with 3 or 4. The messaging of Game Pass and Smart Delivery was clear. And clear messaging, I think, is what damned the Miles Morales reveal a little bit, because the game looks great, and yet, unfortunately, the messaging is kind of the narrative there. I thought they did a really good job with that. 22 games shown is nothing to snub your nose at, and across multiple genres, there's a lot to celebrate in that. The best part about it is there are people in the community saying, well, they didn't give me a reason to buy a Series X, and that's totally okay. They didn't want to give you a reason to buy a Series X alone. They wanted you to play Xbox. That was their goal. And so you can do it on any platform right now. And that'll be part of a conversation that they have in August when they talk about pricing and release dates, and they showcase a little bit more. We know that that stuff's coming. I've talked to a few people. It's coming. But I thought today was fantastic. And I'm going to use my time closing out to say, when you see those people in those conversations, don't call them Sony ponies. Don't call them Xbots. Don't be part of that narrative. Block or mute, but don't participate in it. There is so much to celebrate. One of my best friends hosts a PlayStation show, and
what's his name, Luke?
Yes, whatever. And like Bad Bit and I play every single day. and we play Halo Wars 2. We play on our Xboxes. We talk about Ghost of Tsushima, which we're also both playing. We enjoy loving games. Don't be in that conversation. You have power as a listener right now to hit the like button, to talk about good things, to share with people, to promote content creators that are positive. Be part of that conversation because it's way more fun. It's way more fun.
It
That's
is. No, that's a great point. And you know what? Listen, even if you have a love over, like for instance, very admittedly, I prefer Xbox over the other two consoles, though I don't go out of my way to shit on the other consoles because I proudly support them. I don't play them as often. I only have a 13 level trophy score but I only play exclusives. Where as opposed to I'm closing in on 300,000 gamer score for Xbox because that's where I play the most. And it's okay. And I think that and Luke, you knocked it out of the park. If you don't like a conversation that's going on, just mute, block, and move on. Don't even entertain it with a comment because that's how you get roped into these long-winded firestorms, and they're boring. They're just boring. And they just litter your timeline with with hate and fighting. And you know what? I'm not that kind of a dude, man. I just want to play games and enjoy them regardless of where I am playing them. And that's again, fantastic point. And real quick, Noom Sabat, thanks to the Superman skills of Dreadpool once again, Noom Sabat had dropped a $5 super chat that I missed. He says, unfortunately, most people don't have TVs capable of even a PS5 Pro or an X or a 1X. I think he meant PS4 Pro or 1X. That's why all the negativity is happening. TCL gamers. Well, I hope not. Listen, whatever, man. It is what it is. But you know what? Let's go to Noof. Noof, for you, and again, listen, your opinion matters here. Obviously, this is you are welcomed on this show. You are a brother of mine, even though we may never meet in real life, but maybe one day we will.
Let's hope.
What grade would you give this show?
Okay, so first I'm just gonna say it was a tight show. Pacing was good. It wasn't didn't overextend its welcome. It had lots of variety. Like I said, if you're a Game Pass owner, into JRPGs, like I said, almost every type of game was basically shown today. So the support is good moving forward. There was lots of stuff to get excited about, and I basically did at least see the games that I was expecting or wanted to see, which would be Halo, Fable, and the Psychonauts, which was a little bit I don't know if it was a real big surprise, but I wanted to see that. I've been dying to see what was going on there. So that was a good part. So overall, though, I'm a little bit disappointed because the games I really did want to see didn't exactly blow me away. And like Incepted just kind of said, well, it didn't give me that reason to go and buy an Xbox Series X. And that in itself is a problem for me, because I want to upgrade, but I want to feel like my money is going, you know what I mean? Like I want that purchase to feel validated when I spend that type of money. And I'm not sure if I saw that today, you know what I mean? Because
that's okay.
For the first time in any console release, first time ever, I don't feel generally excited. And I can almost say that for both, for PlayStation 5 and Xbox, that I don't feel generally excited at this point. Nothing's really kind of blew the doors off. So I'm going to give it 7.5.
You know what? And that's your opinion. And you know what? You justified it with facts. And we definitely appreciate that. Let's go to Shandi next. Shandi, for you, what did you walk away grading the showcase that Microsoft put on today?
Well, first I want to say for what Noof is saying, Noof basically kind of the way I'm seeing it too. I didn't go into the show to give it a letter grade. I went to the show for it to answer a question for me. And for Noof, his question was, will this show give me a reason to buy Xbox Series X? And he didn't get that reason. And that's why he's not feeling the show as much as some of the rest of us are. For me, my question was, will this show make me feel comfortable to stick with the Xbox brand moving forward? And for me, I was able to answer that with a yes. And that's why I was able with an A. Now, did I get to see the game from Initiative? No. Did I get gameplay from Hellblade? No. The reason why I give it an A is because the show was able to answer my main question. and that satisfied me. So as far as I'm concerned, the show did what it needed to do. They definitely just maintained this type of the way they did the pacing. The pacing was really good. When we go back to doing E3 in real life again, maintain this type of pacing. It was so just moving on and on, like from one game trailer to a quick blurb of somebody talking, moving right into the next trailer. That was really nice. Just maintain what they're doing. I think they're doing a great job. Can't wait to see the August show. I think that's going to be really good. It's going to be something new. Maybe that'll be where they actually be able to for Noof, where they'll actually hey, this is the Xbox Series X. These are the games that we're building directly for this. This look like this is how we're pushing it forward. So
you know something, you're right, dude. They may have that show in August, and they're going to have a show. We already know it. They just haven't announced it yet. Sony's going to have a show also. Nintendo's probably going to have another 2-3 directs. We don't know, but the Xbox show that's potentially, again, hardware and services is going to show what the hardware can do, and I think you're 100% spot on. Dreadpool, let's get your opinion on this. What did you grade today's Xbox showcase?
I'm at a B++ for someone that doesn't like grading or scoring anything.
Okay.
It's a definitely yay for me. Okay, and that's the way I look at it. My 3 score, yay, nay, or meh. You know. So
okay,
it's yay.
all right, that's a good opinion.
You know what I mean? So it definitely is for me. Did it sell me on buying the Series X? No, it didn't. What sold me is the tech that I know is already there, and the more information that we're getting in the future about the Series X. That's what sold me on it. The other thing that helps sell me on it is having a 1X and seeing how they supported the 1X over the OG Xbox, over the Xbox One S, and knowing that they're going to do that into the Series X. That's what sold me in buying the console. Okay, the games are benefiting from that. Okay, so to me, I'm not looking at it as, okay, well, this game is the reason why I'm buying it. I'm already in the ecosystem. So this game or that game, I'm already going to be playing it whether or not I have a Series X. So I'm looking at it as a benefit. How will this benefit these games as we move on? So that's what sold me on the console. Now, these games from the show is showing me that they are stepping up their game. They are providing more games for us. You know, they are doing, yet again, variety. Like we said before, how many times we have to keep on grinding this one out? Not every game is for every person. Okay. Yes. So every game is made for anybody to enjoy, but it's not always made for every person. So now with that, you know, looking at the tech that we're coming into, and looking at the tech we have now, and looking at where we came from, that's what this show is showing you, the progression of the games and how it's going to evolve with going into the future. So all the stuff that we're seeing, just imagine what we've seen is not even what we're going to get. We're going to get more. Okay. And that's why we need to keep demanding more to make sure that they stay on track. You know, why don't we have the gameplay that we want to see for Hellblade? Why did we get like a little bit of gameplay here, you know, but not over here where we want to see something like Everwild? For me, I was very interested until I saw some of the gameplay mechanics, or I don't even, you know, it threw me off a little bit. So sometimes, you know what I mean? Like for me, I was already invested in that game, and now I'm second guessing it. So showing you too much or not enough is also a detriment, because now it gives me a different idea what I thought the game was going to be. And that's kind of what we need to have. We need to have more information from these games so we can better understand what they're going to be, versus day and date drop. Okay, let me play it now because we didn't know anything. And then you're like, this really wasn't what I thought, you know? So hopefully we'll get more out of this stuff in the future, also with more of the shows that they're going to do in August, not just the tech, but also what the tech can do for these games.
No, and that's a great way to close it out, because I agree with you. Like I said, I'm invested in Everwild because I'm a fan of Rare. If it's a Sea of Thieves type of game, then it's not going to be for me. If it's a Breath of the Wild type of game, then it's going to be for me. And we don't know which of those it's going to be. but I'm sure that they're going to tell us now. Crispy Bomb, what did you walk away scoring today's epic showcase for Microsoft?
Well, I gotta get the letters out, and I gotta do. It's an 8.5, and it's an 8.5 because you showed me a lot of games that I want to play or want to know more, and the beauty of it is a lot of them are in Game Pass, which is incredible, and that makes me totally interested in what they're throwing down. There are games that I didn't know about, like Avowed. Like I was like, where did this come from? And which really, I mean, some people might throw it to the curb or something, but me personally, like, I know what Obsidian is capable of. I have played Fallout New Vegas multiple times in my life.
That's one of the best ones they've ever made.
And I know it in Outer Worlds keeps bringing me back at some point. You know what I mean? I'm very multiplayer centered. I love talking to people, and you just can't do that in Outer Worlds. But it still brings me back. And that's the beauty of what Xbox is doing. They're giving you games that aren't in the same genre. And they're glorious in doing this. They make people feel like they're wanted. And I mean, I would have given an A if Hellblade 2 was shown a little bit more.
Me too. That was the contributing factor for me. That would have pushed me over. I'm standing on a B+, but I agree. I think if they would have shown even a snippet of gameplay, it would have moved it to an A. Sure.
I mean, B+ is what the 8.5 is. I mean,
yes, that is correct.
You know what I mean? So I mean, we've all been to grade school. Come on, But I mean, in all seriousness, like if Hellblade 2 had a little bit more, it would have been an A because the pacing was amazing. The games they showed, a lot of them intrigued me and wanted me to learn more or play them or whatever. Even Everwild, like Everwild just seems a little strange, you know what I mean? But it intrigued me. And Grounded, I know what it is. I've watched an hour gameplay that they showed. But, everybody says, oh, this, that, and the other thing. You can't show too much gameplay. You can't. And they gave us Fable at the end. So I have to give it a B+, man. Like, it was very well thought out, in my opinion.
Well, I agree with you, and I think the overall thought process is that most people on this in the panel liked it. A lot of people in the chat really liked it, and and again, everyone's opinion is going to be different. But Joe, you jumped in halfway through, and your opinion matters to me, even though it may not matter to Luke. I don't know. Joe, what did you walk away giving the Microsoft event?
I think what helped was watching it with Luke, seeing his reaction as an Xbox fan and as me who's playing on the PlayStation ecosystem primarily. I'm right there with Noof. They did not give me a reason as to why I need a Series X at all. But what they did do was give me a reason as to why I need Game Pass, which is this thing we keep beating the drum on. It's like, this is Xbox's future. We can talk about Tower of Power all day long, but they want you to play Destiny on your phone. Like they want you to play this wherever, and seeing even games that like, dude, I don't care too much about, Everwild after seeing it, but I'm still going to try it because I'm paying $15 a month for all these games. Everything other than the Crossfire single player is on Game Pass. And that's something we gotta, I think everybody has kind of overlooked, at least people that throw shade at it. So, in terms of production value, this was an amazing show. Like on the production level alone, A+, fantastic. Keep coming up with these type of events, these type of showcases. You have something here. Get rid of Inside Xbox. This is the thing. Seeing Halo as an old school Halo fan, a fake fan, but like seeing that gameplay It's what the next step of Halo needs to be. So I thought the games that they showed were strong. I liked them a lot. I feel like it's after the event has kind of passed, and we're seeing some things Microsoft has walked back on, or some things we are hearing about Halo that I'm not particularly comfortable with. So or still uncertain of. So to me, I think Noof, I think you hit it on the head. I don't think Sony or Microsoft has done a good job as to telling you why you absolutely need any of these consoles. Like, we're all buying, I'm buying a PlayStation. I'm covering a PlayStation channel, but if I'm not a PlayStation guy, if I'm just a casual observer of video games, I'm looking at that PlayStation event going, all right, like Spider-Man's cool. And then I'm looking at this Xbox event going, all right, like Halo's cool. But none of them are pushing me as to, yeah, you need to pay upwards to $500, $600 for any of these. So to me, I think though the content, I personally enjoyed it, there are some things on the back end that I didn't much care. Didn't much care for. So to me, I do think that this lies in a range of, if I had to be a teacher, 8.5 as well. I think this is a great, and I think what also a lot of people need to think here as well, this is in the age of COVID. They had like 3 months to make this.
Yeah.
Right? 3 months to get everything together. Please be thankful. Well, there are a lot of editors, PR people that work their freaking asses off, devs work their asses off to give you this. There are going to be more of these. So, again, be patient, be calm. More is to come. If you weren't 100% sold on it, that's fine. Totally fine. There will be more,
Well, I mean, again, a great breakdown of what to look forward to in the future, and of course, your score.
But no bug snacks, so it's an F.
So yeah, absolutely no bug snacks. I mean, that's always a win for everybody. Before we get to the outros, 3 super chats came in. Viper XT drops another outstanding $5 super chat and says 22 games shown today, 13 games shown in May, and more to be seen possibly in August. Microsoft is giving us plenty of options. I mean, that's a great point.
Exactly.
That's a great point. That is a really fantastic point. People don't even equate that. And on top of that, you still have to look at what was in the pre-show. Those more games added to that list. Eagles fan 76 drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, every kind of game today got it. Oh, okay. Every kind of gamer today got at least 2 games to go with, and I'll bet with Game Pass they will discover more grade A games. And with August still out there, I mean, that's a great point. I think that regardless of what kind of gamer you are, you did walk away with at least a few that you like. And you know what? Maybe if you try something in Game Pass, you were like, and you're like, wow, this is actually really good. Maybe they did their job. And Noom Sabat, my goodness, dude, your generosity is unbelievable. He drops a $5 super chat and says, last one, with all the negativity, there were no bad games at the show. Sorry to keep popping in. Great show, guys. Play what you want. Peace. Well, thank you for your generosity. And of course, thank you for being here. So let's get into the outros. And on that, with that said, there are 7 other people here that I think everyone needs to look into their content. All of their YouTube channels and their social media accounts are in the show notes. Like Luke said earlier in the episode, he and I think everyone would agree that we highly recommend you give these content creators a click. And when I say a click, not just to be a clickbait a-hole, I mean give their channels a try. If you like how they sound here, there's a good chance that's how they sound on their channel, and it doesn't cost you anything, folks. Literally, click of the mouse. Oh, Insipid Ghost subbed. Oh, Shandi sub, and so on and so forth. Do that because it does really mean a lot to us, more than you could possibly imagine. And we'll start with Zemi Games, the wok master himself. Zemi Games, do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can get some hot off the grill recipes. Check out your YouTube channel, but also talk to you on social media.
I really do love my wok.
I know you do. What's not to like?
Purchase, maybe of all time, maybe above an Xbox. I enjoy this wok more than an Xbox. You know what? Such heresy, right? But no, really, if you guys if you guys want to, definitely go and check out my YouTube channel. It's called Zimmy Games. I do a bunch of gaming content over there, gaming news, reviews, tutorials, unboxings, all sorts of stuff like that. So definitely go check that out if that's your type of thing. And then also go and make sure to check out my Twitter. It is at Zimmy Games. My DMs are always open, and I always really enjoy it whenever any community members send me a message. So if you heard something on today's show that maybe you agree with, maybe you disagree with, always feel free to send me that message because I love talking to you guys about anything gaming related. And then in addition to my DMs always being open, I of course post things like if I find an interesting news article, I'll post it, or if I make some delicious like stir-fried shrimp, I'll definitely post a picture of that just to show you guys. But yeah, Boom, thank you so much. This was a fantastic show as always, and I'm just happy I was a part of it.
Well, it was great to have you as always. And next up, Insipid Ghost, you, my friend, I'm sure you have an interview or 10 coming up outside of you insulting Joe on a regular basis, but we won't get to that. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone not only about your social media account, which is exploding on the scene, I might add, but of course about the Xbox expansion pass, which again needs certainly more eyes and ears on that program.
Absolutely, man. So, guys, YouTube audiences rarely make the jump into podcast specific stuff. And if any of you are willing to check it out on any podcast service, the Xbox Expansion Pass offers analytical approaches to the Xbox ecosystem. I have interviews from around the industry pretty regularly. Most recently, my guest that comes on offers great insight into why Mixer went down, offers some bombs as to how Phil Spencer helped pilot that company back onto streaming for the next gen systems. I strongly recommend you guys take a listen to that one, but it would mean the world if you guys check it out, because sometimes the YouTube audience doesn't jump, and I need you guys there. You guys are great people in this chat every single week, and I appreciate it. And you can find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost, and I'd love to chat with you guys there too. And Boom, thanks for the platform, man.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And you certainly deserve it with the work that you Nukem. You obviously have been at the center of controversy, but you know what? That's not something you shy away from, and it's what we love about you. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can fight with you on social media if they want to, and potentially, and I think they should, check out your outstanding YouTube channel with, of course, your weekly show known as Gaming After Dark, with your lovely co-host who is not obviously in peril.
That's right. Yes, we're glad to say that Primal Eve is safe and sound, and she is very sorry that she kind of left everybody kind of hanging there.
She just needed to unplug, and sometimes that happens, dude. Yeah,
but it wasn't like her, right? It was just uncharacteristic of some of the things, and we talked about it. But it's all good. She's back. I'm sure she'll be ready to go on Tuesday night at Gaming After Dark, and proud to welcome Titan Drago to the panel now. We got a fantastic threesome going over there. To everybody, guys, I am sorry that my opinions really rattle some boxes today, but it is my opinion. I'm sincere. I don't do it for flip-flop, and I'm not doing it, I'm not coming up with clickbait titles to get people to come over. I'm just sincere. I'm a very old school gamer, but I mean that in the biggest way possible. Like I'm what do you call it? I'm a creature of habit. I hate change. I especially hate when options feel forced, because when you start taking away options and the last ones you have left feel forced on you, that makes me very, very mad. Guys, Gaming After Dark Tuesday nights. It is 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain Time. Come check us out. Be Titan and Primal on that particular one. And I just wanted to say as well that we are doing Halo 5 community game night this Saturday. It is at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time. So Halo 5 multiplayer. Hoping to see a great crew come out there. It should be a fun time. So the more the merrier. Just add me on Xbox, Nukem, and let's get stuff done. But a great panel today. Boom, amazing show. Your interview with Major Nelson today was awesome, dude.
Thanks, dude.
To everybody, man, thanks for tuning into this one, and we'll catch you all soon.
Well, thank you so much, Noof. And of course, that's one of the highlights that Noof is. That's why I enjoy him having him on these shows is because of his community outreach that he does. He goes out of his way to make sure that besides talking with you on social media, he will actually play games, and that is a big deal. Next up, Crispy Bomb. Now, Crispy, I got to give a shout out to my very good friend Jago, who reached out to me and just clarified a few things. I originally thought that you were a host, but the hosting job gets done by, of course, Jay, aka the Graphic God, and I believe, who's the other host that's a part of that show?
Supersonic.
Yeah, Supersonic does the other hosting, and of course you are on there with several people, including UK Dazra, Stinking Corpse, yourself. And is there anyone else that maybe I don't know as a part of the panel? Do me a favor, tell everyone about that extremely awesome old school Retro Renegades podcast you do weekly, and also where can people reach out to you on social media?
Oh, absolutely. Boom. And yes, unlike most of you, I don't have a YouTube channel, but I enjoy doing the podcasting thing. And yeah, Flamish Boy is apparently going to be doing, he's going to be hosting also. So we will have 3 hosts for Retro Renegades on Tuesday nights. I believe I need to go to bed after this because tomorrow morning we are going to have breakfast with Boom.
Indeed.
That should be fun, especially with King David there. But
yeah,
will he get the Aurelius? Will he get the Aurelius?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And this week it's just going to be breakfast with Boom tomorrow, and it's going to be Tuesday night Retro Renegades. And yeah, I mean, stuff comes up in between, but I show up.
Yes, you do.
My opinions, and I enjoy just talking to gamers and enjoy gaming. I mean, don't hate on a certain platform or console or whatever the hate in your heart. It might be because you just don't see what you want to see, and the point is that other people see what they want to see, and you have to realize that and stop hating on it. That's it, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you sound exhausted, brother. So you better get to bed so we can have you at full power tomorrow morning. Dreadpool, do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can check you out on social media, but also your YouTube channel.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that came out for the chat, came out and actually support the channel, interact with us, all the super chats that they've given you.
The generosity is just not to be believed. Absolutely.
It's awesome. Like I said, the support. This is what we should be doing, is supporting everybody. Yet again, congratulations for that interview. That was the best interview of Larry Herb I've ever seen. It literally put him out of place, took him out of the corporate setting that he's used to. Mm-hmm. And brought him a little bit more down to earth, like a human being.
He was great to talk to. I got to tell you, he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it just watching it was like it was superb. As always, the panel in here, you guys are all awesome. And the one thing that Bad Bit said really kind of stuck with me. He's a PlayStation guy, and he's even telling you Xbox guys, like, stop like micro picking everything, And it's just funny how you see it from the other side, and the other side's saying the same thing, that like, look, he's supposed to be the competition, the evil guy, right? But he's also, down to earth. He's the one saying, he's giving us all the good points of a console that he's not prioritizing as his main console, right? So he's giving us his input. And it's funny how sometimes some people are like, well, I don't want to, I just want to see all Xbox. Well, yeah, okay, let's see all Xbox, but let's get everybody's opinion, even from the outside. Nobody's bashing Xbox, nobody's bashing PlayStation. Let's get everybody's opinion. So we should be open to everybody as their opinion. Noof has his opinion for certain things. He might be old man, get off my lawn when it comes to certain things that you look at it as, but you know what? That's his opinion. I respect him for it because he always holds up to it. If that's the way he feels, that's the way he feels. And yet, we all need to respect each other and support each other. And like we talked about earlier with Retro Renegades, they're one of the first ones that started the support to be supported. So yet again, I offer out to everybody to support everybody. It doesn't matter who it is, just get it out there. Say, hey, you know what? I like this person. Maybe you guys might be interested. Let's level everybody up and bring in the newcomers too. There's a lot of people that are starting that have nothing, and they're scared. They don't know what to do. We all were scared when we first started. We didn't know what to do, and it took us a while. Some people could just jump off that ledge and fly. Some people fall before they fly, So let's do that. Now for my outro. I'm sorry to take up too much time, but Twitter, I'm at Dreadpool. The O's are actually zeros. YouTube, Gamertag, Stadia, and no longer on Mixer. Dreadpool, all letters, all caps.
Well, I mean, obviously, our rip Mixer, but it is what it is. But thanks for that, dude. That was really great of you to give that before your outro, and I think a lot of people need to take that to heart for sure. Sean D, dude, it was great to have you a part of today's massive panel. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can check out your outstanding YouTube channel, but more importantly, follow you on social media.
Well, first I want to thank you, Boom, and I want to thank the panel for I'm probably the guy who's done this the least. And when I joined the group, everybody just brought me in. It wasn't like, hey, this new guy, let's just stay away from him. So I really appreciate that.
No, this is a family atmosphere here, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Off of what Dreadpool was saying, if there's anybody out there who's interested in doing this type of stuff, you don't always have to start off as going into YouTube. Like for me personally, I started by writing my own blog. As a matter of fact, I have a website that I still have up called Games Against Machines. If anybody's interested in starting that way, where they want to start by just writing their thoughts out in blogs, contact me on Twitter at Gam Entertain. Just DM me. It's whatever you want to write. I'm not picky. Only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it to make sure it's written properly. But outside of that, write whatever you want to write. That's how I did it for a year before I actually felt comfortable enough to come out on YouTube and actually start talking about what I love to do. So yeah, you can hit me up there for that. As far as my YouTube channel, it's Gam Entertainment. I'm going to start putting up some new videos. I've been kind of out of it as far as either getting back into going to work and doing some other things. But after this show, I definitely got some new material to talk about instead of us always talking about specs. So we'll definitely have some new games to dive into and talk about. So yeah, you can hit me up there.
Well, listen, dude, thank you so much. And Noob dropped out because he's got to get to work. Real quick, last but certainly not least, is of course Mr. Badbit. Mr. Badbit, you run an outstanding PlayStation-centric channel known as the Trophy Room. You're also a part of the Xbox Factor podcast and, of course, Breakfast with Boom. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can check out your YouTube channel, but more importantly, follow you on social media.
Right, that grown. That grown. No, yeah. Listen, hey, thank you for the compliment, Dred. That meant a lot. Yeah, this is, at the end of the day, it's all games, y'all. That's what we're playing. I'm not playing a platform. When I look at and I take this to heart, I say it a lot, and I'll say it here. When I take a look at the PlayStation platform, I'm covering it like how my former English teacher, she was a beat reporter for the Yankees, yet the Mets were her favorite team. So that's how I cover PlayStation. I love games. I just happen to know the most about PlayStation. And that's where we come from over here at Bad Big Games. We're talking about all things game news, reviews, unboxings. We just put up the stream, the Xbox stream, where you get to see Luke freak out, literally lose his mind over Halo like a fake fan would. And seriously, it was such a blast to share that moment, share the excitement that video games bring us. And not to mention the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, video version on YouTube, podcast formats, wherever you get your podcasts. This week was fantastic. A lot of positive Microsoft talk because, video games are great, So yeah, find me there. Oh, also, I hit 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Mr. Badbit. Thank you. I felt my ego grow 7 times, and now
Oh, wow.
I'm hustling and bustling. I go, you know who I am? Do you have 1,000 followers on Twitter? No, I'm cutting in front of line. That's what I'm doing. I'm not
Well,
wearing a mask. Yeah.
No mask for you. But listen, folks, as we close in on over 2.5 hours of this show, and I knew it was going to run over, I want to thank the entire chat. I want to for being here. We had over 400 people who are probably all exhausted. From this day was emotional highs, lows, and everything. So everyone's probably sleeping. So thank you for coming out. Big shout out, of course, to the modders. The moderators keep this channel clear, and we have several people in here. UK Dazarus, even recovering from a stroke, is here. The sheriff, known as Lethal Popper, I don't take any shit, is here, and he is patrolling the streets. And of course, we have several others that are here, and the Indie Gamer being one of them, and plenty more that patrol these streets to make sure that this chat is a fun place to hang out. And it's a big shout out to them. And of course, the panel, we had 8 people. This is officially the biggest panel I've ever done, and it's probably the last time I'm ever going to do it, because my God, 8 people in one room is outrageous. So I want to wish everyone a great night. Enjoy gaming regardless of what console you play on, and just have fun. Be nice to one another. And I'm going to close out the show with something that my dad taught me when I was a kid. It's important to me. Hopefully it will be important to you. And it goes like this: treat others how you yourself want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care. Good night. And we'll see you tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Boom. And after that, I'm spent. Take care, everyone.